Once upon a time, in a charming village nestled at the edge of a vast, mystical forest, there was a legend of a magical artifact known as the Starlight Compass. It was said that this compass could guide its holder to their heart's deepest desire and restore balance to their world. For years, the compass had been lost, and the village had fallen into a period of gloom and uncertainty. In the heart of this village lived a young woman named Maris. Maris was known for her kindness and bravery, always helping others in need. One day, the village elder, who had grown frail and wise with age, revealed to Maris that the village's only hope lay in finding the Starlight Compass. The elder explained that the compass had been hidden away in the enchanted forest, guarded by magical creatures and challenging trials. Determined to help her village, Maris set out on a quest to find the Starlight Compass and restore hope to her people. The first challenge, the Whispering Glade. Maris began her journey in the Whispering Glade, a serene meadow where the flowers seemed to whisper secrets of the forest. In the center of the glade stood a great oak tree with a face carved into its trunk. The tree's eyes sparkled with a kind, ancient light. To proceed through the Whispering Glade, the tree said in a voice like rustling leaves, "You must solve this riddle. I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter but not go outside. What am I?" Maris pondered the riddle and answered, "A piano." The oak tree's branches swayed in approval, and it parted its boughs to reveal a hidden path leading deeper into the forest. "Follow this path to reach the next challenge," the tree instructed. The second challenge, the River of Reflections. Maris followed the path and soon arrived at the River of Reflections, a crystal-clear river that mirrored the sky and surrounding trees perfectly. The river was guarded by a shimmering water sprite who danced gracefully on the water's surface. To cross the River of Reflections, the sprite said with a twinkle in her eyes, "You must answer this question. What can travel around the world while staying in a corner?" Maris thought carefully and replied, "A stamp." The water sprite smiled and conjured a bridge of sparkling water lilies across the river. Maris crossed the river, feeling a surge of hope as she neared her goal. The third challenge, the Cavern of Echoes. On the other side of the river, Maris found herself at the entrance of the Cavern of Echoes, a grand cave with walls that seemed to hum with a soft, resonant melody. At the entrance stood an ancient stone door engraved with celestial symbols. A voice echoed from within the cavern, "To unlock this door and find the Starlight Compass, you must reveal your true heart. Share your deepest wish and prove that you seek it with sincerity." Maris took a deep breath and spoke with honesty, "My deepest wish is to find the Starlight Compass and bring its guidance back to my village. I want to restore hope and bring balance to our lives." The cavern's walls began to glow with a warm, golden light, and the ancient door slowly creaked open, revealing a magnificent chamber. In the center of the chamber rested the Starlight Compass, its needle glowing with a soft, ethereal light. The revelation, restoring the village. With the Starlight Compass in her possession, Maris returned to her village. As she held the compass aloft, its light spread out in a gentle, warm glow that enveloped the village. The crops began to grow again, the rivers flowed with crystal-clear water, and a sense of joy and harmony was restored. The villagers gathered around Maris, marveling at the transformation and celebrating the return of their prosperity and happiness. The elder praised Maris for her courage and selflessness, and the story of her quest became a cherished legend in the village. Under the guiding light of the Starlight Compass, the village thrived once more, and Maris' bravery was remembered as a beacon of hope and kindness. The compass continued to shine brightly, a symbol of the power of dreams and the magic that lies in a pure heart. Once upon a time, in the peaceful village of Bramblewood, nestled in a lush valley surrounded by towering mountains, there lived a young boy named Leo. Leo was a curious and brave lad, known for his adventurous spirit and his love of exploring the unknown. Bramblewood was a beautiful place, but it was facing a problem. A mysterious drought had dried up the village's water sources, threatening the livelihood of its people. One day, while wandering in the forest, Leo came across an ancient oak tree with a small, hidden door at its base. As he pushed the door open, he discovered an old, dusty book lying on the ground. Intrigued, he picked it up and started to read. The book told the legend of the Silver Grove, a magical place hidden deep within the forest that held the key to ending the drought. According to the legend, only a person with a pure heart and unwavering courage could find the grove and unlock its power. Determined to save his village, Leo decided to embark on the quest to find the Silver Grove. Early the next morning, he packed a small satchel with food, water, and the book, and set off into the forest. As he ventured deeper, the forest grew darker and more mysterious. The trees seemed to whisper secrets, and the air was filled with the scent of ancient magic. As Leo walked, he encountered a wise old owl named Oren. "Hello, young traveler," Oren hooted. "I see you are on a quest. The path to the Silver Grove is perilous, but I will guide you as best I can." Grateful for the owl's assistance, Leo followed Oren deeper into the forest. They soon reached the Whispering Falls, a cascading waterfall that sang with an enchanting melody. The legend spoke of the falls and the guardian who protected them, a graceful deer named Elara. Leo knew he had to gain her trust to continue his journey. "Welcome, Leo," Elara said, appearing from the shadows. "To pass, you must prove your kindness and bravery." Leo recounted his quest and the plight of his village. Moved by his sincerity, Elara agreed to help. "To find the Silver Grove, you must follow the path of the moonflowers. They only bloom under the light of the full moon." Leo and Oren continued their journey, and as night fell, the forest was illuminated by the soft glow of moonflowers. The flowers formed a luminous trail, guiding them through the dense underbrush. As they walked, they encountered various creatures, a playful fox named Finn, who shared his knowledge of the forest, and a wise tortoise named Tara, who provided valuable advice. After several days of traveling, they reached the heart of the forest, where the moonflowers led them to a hidden glade. In the center of the glade stood a magnificent silver tree, its leaves shimmering like starlight. This was the Silver Grove. But to unlock its power, Leo needed to find the silver key, which was said to be hidden in the enchanted pond nearby. With the guidance of his new friends, Leo found the enchanted pond. The water was crystal clear, and at its bottom, he saw the silver key, glowing with a magical light. To retrieve it, Leo had to face his deepest fear, the fear of failure. Taking a deep breath, he dived into the pond. As he reached for the key, memories of his village and the people he loved gave him strength. He grasped the key and swam back to the surface. With the silver key in hand, Leo returned to the Silver Grove. He placed the key in a small, intricate lock on the trunk of the silver tree. As he turned the key, the tree began to glow, and a powerful wave of magic spread across the forest. The sky darkened, and then a gentle rain began to fall, soaking the earth and filling the rivers and streams. Leo and his friends returned to Bramblewood, where the villagers rejoiced at the sight of the rain. The drought ended, and the land flourished once more. The people of Bramblewood celebrated Leo's bravery and kindness, and the legend of the Silver Grove was passed down for generations. Leo continued to explore the world, always guided by the lessons he had learned and the friendships he had made on his journey. And so, the village of Bramblewood lived in prosperity and harmony, forever grateful to the young boy who had unlocked the secret of the Silver Grove. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in the heart of the Whispering Forest, there stood a small, hidden village named Eldoria. The village was known for its lush gardens and shimmering streams, but its most remarkable treasure was the Enchanted Mirror, an ancient artifact said to grant one wish to the pure of heart. The mirror was kept in a grand oak tree in the center of the village, adorned with delicate vines and flowers that bloomed year-round. The villagers revered it, but no one had ever used its magic. It was believed that the mirror chose when it was time for a wish to be granted, revealing itself only when the need was greatest. One day, a young girl named Elara, with eyes as bright as the morning sun, arrived in Eldoria. She had traveled from a distant land, searching for a cure for her ailing mother. Elara had heard tales of the enchanted mirror and hoped it might hold the answer to her prayers. Elara was greeted warmly by the villagers, who listened to her story with kind hearts and open ears. The village elder, a wise old woman named Serafina, invited Alara to stay at her cottage and promised to help her in any way she could. As days turned into weeks, Alara's hope began to wane. Despite her efforts and the kindness of the villagers, her mother's condition grew worse. The enchanted mirror remained hidden, its magic dormant. One evening, as the sky turned shades of gold and pink, Alara took a solitary walk through the forest. She wandered to the grand oak tree, feeling a mix of desperation and resolve. With tears in her eyes, she spoke softly to the tree. "If the enchanted mirror truly exists, I beg you to show yourself. My mother is suffering, and I don't know what else to do." Suddenly, the air around the oak tree shimmered with a soft, golden light. The tree's bark parted, revealing the enchanted mirror in all its glory. Its surface gleamed with an otherworldly light, reflecting not just Alara's image but her heartfelt plea. The mirror spoke in a gentle, melodic voice. "Alara, you have shown great courage and love for your mother. The mirror grants one wish to those who seek it with a pure heart. What is your deepest wish?" Alara's heart ached as she replied, "I wish for my mother to be healed and to be able to return home with me." The mirror's light grew brighter, enveloping Alara in its warm glow. She felt a sense of peace and hope wash over her. The light slowly faded, and the mirror's surface became calm once more. The next morning, Alara received word from home. Her mother had miraculously recovered overnight. The doctors were baffled, but Alara knew it was the magic of the enchanted mirror that had saved her mother. Filled with gratitude, Alara returned to Eldoria to thank the villagers and to bid them farewell. Serafina smiled warmly and said, "The enchanted mirror is a symbol of hope and love. It has chosen you because your heart is as pure as the light it holds." As Alara left Eldoria with her mother, she knew that the village and its magical mirror would always hold a special place in her heart. The enchanted mirror continued to shine in the whispering forest, waiting for the next pure-hearted soul who might need its magic. And so, in the heart of the whispering forest, the legend of the enchanted mirror lived on, a beacon of hope and the magic of selfless love. The Lantern of Lumina. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there stood a charming old lighthouse. This lighthouse was not just a beacon for sailors, it was also known to hold a secret. The villagers believed that inside the lighthouse was a magical lantern called the Lantern of Lumina. The lantern was said to have the power to grant one wish to someone who truly needed it. In this village lived a humble boy named Oliver. Oliver was kind-hearted and always willing to help others, even though he didn't have much to call his own. His family was poor, and the village was suffering from a recent storm that had destroyed crops and homes. Despite his own troubles, Oliver worked tirelessly to support his neighbors and help rebuild the village. One stormy night, Oliver's mother fell ill, and their small cottage was barely holding together. Hearing the villagers speak of the Lantern of Lumina and its magical properties, Oliver decided to seek it out. He hoped that the lantern's magic could bring relief to his family and the village. The journey to the lighthouse the next morning, with a heavy heart but determined spirit, Oliver set off towards the lighthouse. The path was difficult, with the remnants of the storm making the journey treacherous. But Oliver's resolve was strong, and he pressed on through the rain and wind. As Oliver approached the lighthouse, he saw an old wooden door with intricate carvings. To his surprise, the door was slightly ajar. He pushed it open and stepped into the dimly lit interior. The lighthouse was filled with the scent of old sea air and salt. The keeper of the lighthouse. In the center of the lighthouse stood a spiral staircase leading up to the lantern. At the base of the stairs sat an elderly man with a long, silver beard. He was the keeper of the lighthouse, a wise and gentle soul who had tended to the lighthouse for many years. The keeper looked at Oliver with kind eyes and said, "To reach the Lantern of Lumina, you must first prove your worth. Solve my riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Oliver thought for a moment and then answered, "An echo." The keeper smiled and nodded, motioning for Oliver to proceed up the stairs. The lantern was at the top, glowing softly through the stormy windows. the lantern of Lumina at the top of the lighthouse, Oliver saw the lantern of Lumina resting on a pedestal. The lantern was beautifully crafted, with delicate patterns that shimmered like stardust. As Oliver approached, he could feel a warm, comforting glow emanating from it. A soft voice echoed from the lantern, "To grant your wish, you must speak from the heart. What you asked for must be for the benefit of others." Oliver took a deep breath and said, "I wish for my village to be restored, for the storm to be healed, and for my family and neighbors to find happiness and prosperity again." As Oliver spoke, the lantern's light grew brighter, and a gentle, golden glow filled the room. The light spread outwards, flowing through the stormy clouds and over the village. The return to the village. When Oliver returned to his village, he was greeted with a miraculous sight. The storm had cleared, and the village was bathed in golden sunlight. The homes were repaired, the fields were green, and there was food and clean water for everyone. The village was bustling with joy and laughter. Oliver's family was in good health, and the village celebrated with a grand feast to honor Oliver's bravery and kindness. The magic of the Lantern of Lumina had transformed their lives, and Oliver was hailed as a hero. The tale of Oliver and the Lantern of Lumina became a cherished story in the village, a reminder of the power of selflessness and the magic that can be found when one truly cares for others. And so, the village continued to thrive, forever blessed by the magic of the Lantern of Lumina and the heart of one extraordinary young boy. Once upon a time, in a peaceful kingdom known as Evergreen, there was a wondrous glade called the Garden of Echoes. This garden was famous for its vibrant, enchanted flowers that bloomed in every color of the rainbow. Each flower held a unique magic, and the garden was tended by a wise old gnome named Thistlewick. Thistlewick had a special connection with the flowers and the garden's magic. He was known to grant a single wish to those who proved themselves worthy by completing 3 magical tasks. Many came seeking Thistlewick's help, but only a few succeeded. In the nearby village of Maplewood lived a kind-hearted girl named Leora. Leora was known for her love of animals and her generous spirit. She had always dreamed of making the world a better place but didn't know where to start. One day, she decided to visit the Garden of Echoes and seek Thistlewick's guidance. Accompanied by her loyal dog, Bramble, Leora journeyed through the lush forest that surrounded the garden. The path was adorned with sparkling dew and sweet-scented blossoms. As they approached the garden, they were greeted by Thistlewick, who was busy tending to the magical flowers. "Welcome, Leora," Thistlewick said with a twinkle in his eye. "To receive my help, you must complete 3 tasks that test your heart and spirit. Only then will I grant you a single wish." Leora nodded, determined to prove her worth. Thistlewick began with the first task, the trial of patience. He led her to a grove where a rare flower called the nightshade blossom was blooming. The blossom only opened once every 100 years and required a delicate touch. Leora and Bramble carefully approached the blossom. Thistlewick instructed them to wait quietly without disturbing the flower, as any sudden movement could make it close. For hours, they sat in silence, watching as the flower gradually unfurled its petals. Their patience paid off, and the nightshade blossom revealed its shimmering beauty. Having completed the first task, Thistlewick presented the trial of wisdom. He handed Leora a scroll with a riddle. "I am taken from a mine, and shut up in a wooden case, from which I am never released, and yet I am used by almost every person. What am I?" Leora pondered the riddle carefully. With Bramble's encouraging nudge, she recalled the answer. "Pencil," she said confidently. The riddle solved, the path to the next task was revealed. The final task was the trial of compassion. Thistlewick led Leora to a hidden corner of the garden where a small, injured creature lay, a tiny fairy with a broken wing. The fairy was weak and frightened, and Thistlewick explained that Leora needed to help heal the fairy. Leora gently picked up the fairy and used the herbs and salve she had brought with her. She spoke soothingly to the fairy and tended to its wing with utmost care. Bramble gathered fresh nectar from nearby flowers to help restore the fairy's strength. After some time, the fairy's wing began to heal, and its sparkle returned. With the 3 tasks complete, Thistlewick smiled warmly. "You have shown patience, wisdom, and compassion. Your heart is pure, and you have proven yourself worthy." Leora thanked Thistlewick and made her wish. "I wish for a way to help others in need, so I can spread kindness and make a difference in the world." Thistlewick nodded and handed Leora a small, enchanted seed. "Plant this seed in the heart of your village. It will grow into a tree of wishes, allowing you to help others and share the magic you found." Leora and Bramble returned to Maplewood and planted the enchanted seed in the village square. As the tree grew, it blossomed with golden leaves and magical fruit. Villagers could make their wishes, and the tree's magic would grant them hope and help. The Tree of Wishes brought prosperity and joy to Maplewood, and Leora's wish to spread kindness was fulfilled. The village flourished, and the spirit of generosity spread far and wide. And so, the legend of Leora and the Garden of Echoes became a beloved story in Evergreen, a testament to the power of patience, wisdom, and compassion. The end. In a small, picturesque village called Evergreen, nestled at the edge of a vast, enchanted forest, lived a curious boy named Finn. Finn was known throughout the village for his adventurous spirit and his love for discovering the unknown. His greatest dream was to find a magical artifact rumored to be hidden deep within the forest, a lantern said to grant the pure-hearted a single wish. One sunny morning, as Finn wandered through the village market, he overheard a conversation between two old storytellers. They spoke of the enchanted lantern, which had been lost for centuries. Legends claimed that whoever found it could make a wish to change their life forever. Finn's heart raced with excitement. He decided that he would be the one to find the lantern and make a wish for his village, which had been struggling with a long drought. The journey begins. Finn prepared for his journey with a sturdy backpack, a map of the forest, and a small compass. He also took along his faithful dog, Rusty, who was always by his side. With a determined spirit, Finn set off into the enchanted forest, the trees whispering ancient secrets as he walked. The forest was dense and mysterious, filled with towering trees, winding paths, and strange, glowing plants. As they ventured deeper, Finn and Rusty encountered a series of magical creatures. First, they met a talking squirrel named Nutty, who offered them a riddle to solve in exchange for guidance. "Answer me this," Nutty chattered. "I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter but not go outside. What am I?" Finn thought for a moment and replied, "A piano." Nutty nodded, pleased with the answer, and directed them to the path that would lead to the heart of the forest, where the lantern was said to be hidden. The guardian of the lantern. After hours of walking, they reached a clearing where a majestic oak tree stood. At its base was a large, ancient door covered in vines and intricate carvings. This was the entrance to the hidden realm where the enchanted lantern was kept. However, guarding the door was a formidable creature, a gentle giant named Bramble, who was entrusted with protecting the lantern from those unworthy. Bramble, though large and imposing, had a kind heart. He explained that to enter, Finn would have to prove his worthiness by showing courage, kindness, and wisdom. Bramble presented 3 challenges: a test of bravery, a test of kindness, and a test of wisdom. The 3 challenges. 1. The test of bravery. Bramble led Finn to a dark, eerie cave where a mystical creature known as the Shadow Beast lurked. Finn was to retrieve a magical flower from within the cave. With Rusty by his side, Finn bravely entered the cave, his heart pounding. The Shadow Beast, sensing his courage, revealed itself to be a misunderstood guardian rather than a foe. The beast was trapped and needed help. Finn, showing compassion, freed the beast from its magical chains, and in return, the beast led him to the flower. 2. The test of kindness. Next, Finn and Rusty came across a group of lost forest sprites who were hungry and tired. Instead of continuing on his quest, Finn used his provisions to feed and care for the sprites. Grateful, the sprites bestowed upon him a gift, a vial of stardust that would light the way through the darkest paths. 3. The test of wisdom. For the final test, Bramble presented Finn with a puzzle, a series of symbols that needed to be matched with their meanings. With Rusty's help and the stardust vial's guidance, Finn carefully solved the puzzle, revealing the correct answers. Having passed all 3 tests, Bramble was convinced of Finn's worthiness and allowed him to enter the hidden realm. The enchanted lantern inside the realm. The enchanted lantern glowed softly on a pedestal surrounded by shimmering mist. Finn approached the lantern and made his wish, to bring rain and restore prosperity to his village. The lantern's light brightened and a gentle rain began to fall outside the realm. With the lantern's magic, Finn and Rusty returned to Evergreen, where the rain continued to pour, quenching the parched earth. The village flourished once again, the crops grew, and the rivers flowed with fresh, clean water. The villagers celebrated Finn's bravery and kindness, and he was hailed as a hero. A lasting legacy. The enchanted lantern, having fulfilled its purpose, returned to its resting place in the hidden realm, waiting for the next worthy seeker. Finn's story became a cherished legend in Evergreen, reminding everyone of the power of courage, kindness, and wisdom. As for Finn, he continued to explore and adventure, always guided by the lessons he had learned. The village thrived under the blessing of the rain, and the memory of the enchanted lantern lived on in the hearts of all who heard the tale. And so, in the vibrant village of Evergreen, peace and prosperity reigned, thanks to the bravery and kindness of a young boy and his loyal dog. The end. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled at the edge of a great forest, there was a little girl named Eliza who loved to stargaze. Every night, she would sit on the hill behind her house, looking up at the twinkling stars and dreaming of adventures beyond the village. One crisp autumn evening, as Eliza was settling in for her nightly stargazing, she noticed a soft, glowing light moving through the forest. Intrigued, she decided to follow the light to see where it led. She grabbed a warm coat and a lantern for safety and ventured into the forest. The light led her to a beautiful clearing where an enormous, ancient oak tree stood. At the base of the tree was a small, ornate lantern glowing with a silvery light. Eliza approached the lantern and, as she picked it up, a voice spoke from the tree. "Greetings, Eliza. I am the spirit of the oak," the voice said. "This lantern holds the power to grant one special wish, but it must be used wisely. The magic of the lantern can bring joy and light, but it also has the ability to reveal hidden truths." Eliza was amazed but curious. "What should I wish for?" she asked the spirit of the oak. The spirit replied, "Think deeply about what truly matters to you, and your wish will reveal itself." Eliza thought about her village and her dreams of adventure. She wished to explore beyond the forest and see the wonders of the world. She made her wish with all her heart, and the lantern's light grew even brighter. In an instant, Eliza found herself standing at the edge of a magical land she had only ever dreamed of. The land was a breathtaking place filled with floating islands, shimmering rivers, and majestic creatures. A friendly dragon named Thorn flew down to greet her. Thorn was covered in iridescent scales and had wings that sparkled like diamonds. "Welcome to the land of moonlight," Thorn said. "I am the guardian of this realm. You are here because your wish has opened the gateway to our world. Let me show you the wonders that await." Thorn led Eliza on a grand tour of the magical land. They visited the Rainbow Falls, where the water cascaded in every color of the spectrum. They soared through the starry skies, where constellations danced and formed shapes that told ancient stories. They even explored the enchanted gardens, where flowers sang and trees told tales of old. During their journey, Eliza met many magical beings, talking animals, kind-hearted fairies, and wise old wizards. Each one shared their stories and knowledge with her, and Eliza learned about the balance and harmony that kept the land of moonlight in its enchanting state. However, as the night began to deepen, Eliza felt a pang of homesickness. She missed her village, her family, and her simple life. She realized that while the magical land was incredible, her heart yearned for home. She returned to the spirit of the oak with a heavy heart and spoke honestly about her feelings. The spirit listened and smiled warmly. "You have experienced the wonders of our world and learned valuable lessons. Now, it's time for you to return home with a heart full of memories and wisdom." With a wave of the spirit's hand, the lantern's light enveloped Eliza, and she was gently transported back to the clearing in the forest. The lantern had dimmed, its magic fulfilled. Eliza hugged it tightly and thanked the spirit of the oak for the extraordinary adventure. As she walked back to her village, Eliza felt a newfound appreciation for her home and the people she loved. She knew that while the world was full of wonders, the greatest joy came from the simple, everyday moments with those she cherished. Eliza's tale of the land of moonlight became a beloved story in the village. The villagers would gather around her, eager to hear about the magical adventures and the lessons she learned. And every autumn, Eliza would return to the ancient oak tree to visit the lantern, remembering the magic it had brought into her life and the wisdom it had given her. And so, Eliza lived happily ever after, carrying the light of her adventure in her heart and sharing its magic with everyone she met. Once upon a time, in a picturesque kingdom called Eldoria, there was a charming village named Rosewood. Rosewood was renowned for its beautiful gardens and its magnificent carousel that stood in the village square. This was no ordinary carousel, it was said to be enchanted, with each of its whimsical creatures, horses, unicorns, and dragons, coming to life at twilight. In Rosewood lived a kind-hearted girl named Mia. Mia loved the carousel more than anything, especially its majestic unicorn named Luna. Every evening, Mia would visit the carousel to watch the sunset and listen to the magical music it played. The villagers believed that the carousel's magic kept their land joyful and peaceful. One evening, as twilight approached, a dark cloud began to gather over the kingdom. The carousel's music grew faint and strained, and the once vibrant colors of the enchanted creatures began to fade. Mia's heart sank as she realized that the carousel's magic was waning. The village elder, a gentle man named Cedric, called a meeting and revealed that the source of the carousel's magic, the Heartstone of Harmony, had been stolen. The Heartstone was hidden in a secret chamber beneath the carousel and was the key to the enchantment that kept the village in harmony. Without it, the carousel's magic would continue to weaken, and darkness would slowly consume Rosewood. Determined to save her village and her beloved carousel, Mia decided to embark on a quest to retrieve the Heartstone. Accompanied by Luna, who had magically transformed into a shimmering unicorn, and her clever friend Oliver, a small and resourceful mouse, Mia set off towards the enchanted forest, where the Heartstone was rumored to be hidden. Their journey began with a series of magical challenges. The first challenge was a labyrinth of towering, enchanted hedges. As they ventured into the maze, the hedges seemed to shift and rearrange themselves. A friendly, talking owl perched on a high branch noticed their struggle. "To navigate this maze, you must answer my riddle," the owl said with a hoot. "I am not alive, yet I grow. I don't have lungs, yet I need air. I don't have a mouth, yet water kills me. What am I?" Mia thought hard and finally answered, "A fire." The owl nodded and flapped its wings, causing the hedges to part and reveal the way forward. Mia, Luna, and Oliver continued their journey and soon reached a shimmering river guarded by a gentle, glowing water nymph. "To cross this river, you must show kindness," the nymph said. "My waters are troubled, and I need help. Can you restore their clarity?" Mia took out a vial of enchanted dust she had brought for emergencies and sprinkled it over the river. The waters cleared instantly, and the nymph created a bridge of sparkling water for them to cross. As they proceeded, they arrived at a dense grove where they encountered a fierce, shadowy guardian who blocked their way. The guardian, a formidable figure with glowing eyes, challenged them to a test of courage. "To proceed, you must confront your greatest fear," the guardian declared. Mia took a deep breath and stepped forward. She faced her fear of darkness and embraced it with unwavering courage. Her bravery illuminated the grove with a warm, golden light, causing the guardian to step aside and reveal a hidden path leading to a grand, ancient oak tree. At the base of the oak tree was a hidden door. Mia, Luna, and Oliver entered the chamber beneath the tree and found the Heartstone of Harmony lying on a pedestal, surrounded by dark enchantments. A menacing sorceress named Malina appeared, having stolen the Heartstone to harness its power for herself. "You cannot take the Heartstone," Malina hissed. "Its power is mine." Mia stood her ground, her heart filled with determination. "The Heartstone belongs to the people of Rosewood. It should be used to bring harmony, not to sow discord." Malina raised her staff, but Luna charged forward, using her unicorn's magic to deflect the sorceress's attacks. Oliver darted around, creating distractions. Mia seized the Heartstone and, with a burst of light, shattered Melina's staff, breaking the dark enchantments. With the Heartstone in her possession, Mia and her friends returned to Rosewood. As they approached the village, Mia placed the Heartstone back into the pedestal beneath the carousel. The enchanted creatures sprang back to life, and the carousel's music resumed its joyful melody, filling the air with magic once more. The villagers celebrated with a grand festival, dancing under the stars and marveling at the revitalized carousel. The Heartstone's magic was restored, and Rosewood thrived, its gardens blooming brighter than ever and its people filled with renewed happiness. Mia's bravery and kindness became legendary in Rosewood, and her story was told for generations as a reminder of the power of courage, friendship, and the magic of harmony. And so, the village of Rosewood continued to bask in the light of the enchanted carousel, living happily ever after. Once upon a time, in the heart of the magical kingdom of Eldoria, there was a mysterious and ancient forest known as the Forest of Echoes. The forest was known for its magical properties, and every sound within it would echo back with a new meaning or lesson. Legend spoke of a hidden treasure deep within the forest that could only be found by someone who truly understood the echo's messages. In a nearby village lived a curious young girl named Lena. Lena was known for her inquisitive nature and her love for exploring the unknown. She had always been fascinated by the Forest of Echoes and the legend surrounding it. One day, her grandmother fell ill with a rare ailment that no healer could cure. Hearing that the forest might hold a cure or a solution, Lena decided to venture into the Forest of Echoes in search of the hidden treasure. Early one morning, Lena set off into the forest with a small satchel, a map of the forest's landmarks, and a heart full of hope. The forest was a labyrinth of towering trees, shimmering with mystical light, and a symphony of sounds that seemed to dance in the air. As Lena ventured deeper into the forest, she came across a babbling brook. As she leaned closer to listen to its soothing sound, the brook's echo spoke to her, "To find what you seek, you must listen with care. The path to the treasure is hidden, but the answers are there." Intrigued, Lena followed the sound of the brook and discovered a series of stepping stones leading across it. Carefully, she stepped from stone to stone, crossing the brook safely. On the other side, she saw a path winding through the forest, marked with glowing symbols on the trees. The next challenge came in the form of a dense thicket. As Lena made her way through, the rustling leaves and branches began to whisper. The echoes of their rustling carried a riddle: from the seed to the tree, what does it need to grow? It starts in the dark and reaches for the light, though. Lena pondered the riddle, remembering her grandmother's stories of nature and growth. She realized the answer was nurture. With this insight, she carefully tended to the thicket, moving branches and clearing the path. As she did so, the thicket parted to reveal a hidden glade bathed in golden sunlight. In the center of the glade was a magnificent tree, its branches adorned with sparkling fruits that looked like precious gems. At the base of the tree was a large, ancient door covered in intricate carvings. The echoes of the forest spoke again. To enter the door, your heart must be true. A simple key lies within you. Lena understood that the key was not a physical object but a reflection of her own heart and intentions. She took a deep breath and placed her hand on the door. As she did, the carvings began to glow, and the door creaked open to reveal a beautiful, luminous chamber. Inside the chamber was a pedestal with a glowing crystal at its center. The crystal was the hidden treasure of the Forest of Echoes, known for its healing properties and its ability to grant wisdom. Lena approached the pedestal, and the echoes of the forest filled the chamber with a soothing melody. As she reached for the crystal, a gentle voice spoke from within the chamber: "You have shown courage, wisdom, and a kind heart. The treasure is yours to take, but remember, its power lies in its purpose." Lena carefully took the crystal and made her way back to the village. Upon her return, she used the crystal's healing magic to cure her grandmother and bring wellness to the entire village. The crystal's light brought hope and renewal, and the village flourished once more. Lena's bravery and kindness became a legend in Eldoria, and the Forest of Echoes was celebrated as a place of wisdom and magic. the story of Lena's journey was passed down through generations, reminding all who heard it of the importance of listening, understanding, and using one's heart to guide their way. And so, Lena continued to explore and learn, her heart ever open to the lessons of the world. The Forest of Echoes remained a place of wonder and enchantment, where every echo held a secret waiting to be discovered. The end. Once upon a time, in a quaint village surrounded by dense forests and rolling hills, there was a small, humble cottage owned by a kind woman named Elara. Elara was known for her generous spirit and her love for all living things. Her garden was always blooming, and animals from far and wide came to her for help. One evening, as the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the land, Elara was tending to her garden when she noticed a strange, golden light flickering among the flowers. Curious, she followed the light and discovered an old, dusty lantern buried under a pile of leaves. Elara carefully picked up the lantern and brushed off the dirt. The lantern was ornately decorated with intricate patterns of stars and moons. It seemed to hum softly in her hands, as if it held a secret. As she brought the lantern inside and placed it on her mantle, the golden light grew brighter. With a soft click, the lantern's door opened, and out floated a tiny, shimmering fairy. The fairy's wings sparkled like diamonds, and her smile was as warm as sunlight. "Thank you for freeing me," the fairy said with a voice as gentle as a summer breeze. "I am Leora, the guardian fairy of wishes. For freeing me, I will grant you one wish." Elara was amazed but also a bit puzzled. She thought about what she might wish for. She had everything she needed and wanted nothing for herself. After a moment's reflection, she said, "I wish for a way to help everyone in our village." Leora's eyes twinkled, and she waved her wand, sending a burst of sparkling light into the lantern. "Your wish is granted. This lantern will now shine with a magical light that can bring joy and aid to those in need. But remember, the light only works if the heart behind it is pure." With that, Leora vanished back into the lantern, leaving Elara with a sense of wonder and responsibility. The next day, a storm hit the village, leaving the villagers in a state of disarray. Homes were damaged, and spirits were low. Elara knew this was the time to use the lantern's magic. She carried the lantern through the village, holding it high so that its warm, golden light could shine upon everyone. Wherever the light touched, flowers began to bloom, broken things were mended, and smiles appeared on the villagers' faces. The lantern's light spread joy and hope, transforming the village into a place of renewed happiness. But as the days went by, Elara noticed something even more magical. The lantern's light began to reveal hidden talents in the villagers. The blacksmith, who had always been gruff, found joy in creating beautiful sculptures. The baker, once shy, discovered a talent for storytelling that brought laughter to the village. The lantern's light helped each person find their own unique gift and encouraged them to share it with others. One evening, as the village celebrated their newfound joy and prosperity, Elara noticed that the lantern's light had dimmed. She was concerned but remembered Leora's words about a pure heart. She knew that the lantern's magic depended on the kindness of the one who carried it. Elara thought deeply and realized that the true magic was not in the lantern itself but in the way it had brought the villagers together and helped them discover their own potential. She decided to pass the lantern on to someone else in need, trusting that its magic would continue to spread. As she prepared to hand over the lantern, Leora reappeared, her eyes shining with approval. "You have used the lantern's magic wisely, Elara. The light it gave was a reflection of your own kindness and generosity. Remember, the greatest magic of all is the kindness in your heart." Elara smiled and handed the lantern to a young woman who had just moved to the village. She hoped that the lantern would continue to bring joy and inspiration to others. And so, the village thrived, and the enchanted lantern continued its journey, lighting up the lives of those who needed it most. Elara's selflessness and the lantern's magic became a cherished story in the village, a reminder that true magic lies in the kindness we share with others. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where the mountains kissed the sky and the rivers sang soft lullabies, there was a quaint village called Briarwood. The village was nestled at the edge of an enchanted forest, known for its magical flora and mystical creatures. The centerpiece of this forest was the Moonflower Grove, a magical place where the rare moonflowers bloomed only under the light of the full moon. Moonflowers were said to possess a melody that could heal hearts and bring peace to troubled souls. However, they bloomed only once every century, making them a rare and precious gift. The villagers cherished these flowers, but the secret to their magical melody was known only to a few. In Briarwood lived a young girl named Arya. Arya was known for her beautiful singing voice, which had the power to soothe even the most troubled heart. She had always been fascinated by the moonflowers and dreamed of hearing their legendary melody. One day, as the time approached for the moonflowers to bloom, a heavy storm struck Briarwood. The storm lasted for days, and the village was left in disarray. The villagers were worried that the moonflowers would be ruined and their precious melody lost. Determined to save the flowers and bring hope to her village, Arya decided to venture into the Moonflower Grove. She knew the forest well but had never ventured into the heart of the grove where the moonflowers bloomed. She hoped that her singing could coax the flowers into blooming despite the storm's aftermath. With a lantern in hand and a heart full of hope, Arya set out into the enchanted forest. The wind howled and the trees whispered, but Arya pressed on, guided by her determination. As she reached the Moonflower Grove, she found the once beautiful flowers battered by the storm. The petals were drooping, and the ground was wet and muddy. Arya took a deep breath and began to sing. Her voice, soft and melodious, floated through the grove like a gentle breeze. She sang of hope and renewal, of the strength of the village and the beauty of the moonflowers. Her song seemed to resonate with the very heart of the forest. As Arya sang, something magical began to happen. The moonflowers, though battered, started to respond to her melody. Their petals began to shimmer with a soft, silver light, and the gentle melody of their bloom began to weave through the air. The storm clouds parted slightly, allowing a sliver of moonlight to touch the flowers. The moonflowers glowed brighter with each note Arya sang. The grove, once dark and desolate, began to fill with a warm, soothing light. The melody of the flowers mingled with Arya's song, creating a harmonious symphony that resonated through the forest. Soon, the grove was alive with the enchanting melody of the moonflowers. Their music was so beautiful and healing that it seemed to lift the very spirits of the storm-touched land. The villagers, who had been anxiously waiting at the edge of the forest, heard the magical melody and knew that Arya had succeeded. When Arya finally returned to Briarwood, she was greeted with cheers and gratitude. The village was bathed in the soft, calming light of the moonflowers, and their melody brought peace and comfort to everyone. The storm had passed, and the land seemed to have been renewed by the magic of the moonflowers and Arya's song. The story of Arya and the moonflowers became a cherished legend in Briarwood. The villagers learned that even in the darkest times, hope and determination could bring light and beauty. The Moonflower Grove remained a symbol of magic and renewal, and Arya's song continued to be sung in the village, a reminder of the power of music and the enduring spirit of the human heart. And so, Briarwood thrived, forever touched by the melody of the moonflowers and the courage of a young girl who believed in the magic of her song. The end. The magic of Willow's Grove. Once upon a time, in a land of rolling hills and blooming meadows, there was a small village nestled beside an ancient forest. In this village lived a curious boy named Oliver. Oliver loved exploring and had a special fascination with the old stories and legends of his village, especially the tale of Willow's Grove. According to the legend, Willow's Grove was a hidden part of the forest where the trees were enchanted and had the power to grant wishes. However, the entrance to this magical grove was hidden and could only be found by someone who truly believed in magic and had a pure heart. One bright autumn morning, Oliver decided to search for Willow's Grove. He packed a small satchel with food, a map, and his trusty compass, then set off into the forest. The trees were ablaze with colors of red and gold, and the air was filled with the scent of fallen leaves. As Oliver ventured deeper into the forest, he came across an old, gnarled oak tree with a large hollow at its base. Curious, he peered inside and found a small, intricately carved wooden box. Inside the box was a note that read, "To find Willow's Grove, follow the whispers of the trees and listen to the songs of the birds." Determined, Oliver continued his journey, keeping his ears open for any whispers and songs. The forest was alive with the chatter of birds and the rustling of leaves, but he focused on the sounds that seemed to guide him forward. After walking for hours, Oliver came to a clearing where a circle of ancient, majestic trees stood. They were unlike any trees he had seen before, with silver leaves that shimmered in the sunlight. As he approached, he noticed a gentle, melodious hum emanating from the trees. It was as if they were singing a soft, harmonious tune. Oliver took a deep breath and closed his eyes, allowing the music of the trees to fill his senses. As he listened, the hum seemed to form words, "Welcome, seeker of magic. The path to Willow's Grove lies before you." With renewed hope, Oliver followed the melody, which seemed to grow stronger as he walked. The ground beneath him began to glow with a faint, golden light, and he soon found himself at the edge of a hidden glade. In the center of the glade stood an enormous willow tree with branches that cascaded to the ground like a shimmering curtain. The willow tree's bark was adorned with delicate, glowing runes, and its leaves sparkled like stars. Oliver approached the tree with reverence, feeling a sense of awe and wonder. As he reached out to touch the bark, the runes began to glow brighter, and a soft, melodious voice spoke. "Welcome, Oliver. You have found Willow's Grove, a place where wishes are woven into the fabric of dreams. What is it that you seek?" Oliver hesitated for a moment, then spoke from his heart. "I wish to bring joy and prosperity to my village. We have been facing hardships, and I want to help them find happiness and abundance." The willow tree's branches swayed gently, and the air filled with a warm, golden light. "Your wish comes from a pure heart," the voice said. "To fulfill it, you must make a gift of your own. Place a small token of your village's love at the base of the tree, and the magic of Willow's Grove will begin to work." Oliver thought for a moment and then took out a small, handcrafted wooden charm from his satchel. It was a simple heart-shaped pendant, intricately carved and painted with vibrant colors. He had made it himself, and it symbolized the love and unity of his village. With a sense of gratitude, Oliver placed the charm at the base of the willow tree. As soon as he did, the ground began to shimmer, and a gentle breeze carried the charm away, as if it were being lifted by an invisible hand. The golden light from the tree enveloped the entire glade, and Oliver felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. "Your gift has been accepted," the voice said. "Return to your village, and you will find that the magic of Willow's Grove has already begun to work." Oliver made his way back to the village, his heart light and hopeful. As he approached, he was amazed to see the once barren fields now lush and green. The villagers were busy harvesting a bountiful crop, and the air was filled with laughter and joy. It was as if the land itself had been transformed, bringing prosperity and happiness to everyone. The villagers greeted Oliver with cheers and gratitude, and he shared the story of his journey and the magic of Willow's Grove. They celebrated with a grand feast, and Oliver's wish for joy and abundance had come true. From that day on, the village thrived, and the legend of Willow's Grove lived on as a symbol of hope and magic. The villagers continued to honor the grove and the enchanting willow tree that had helped them in their time of need. And so, Oliver's adventure became a cherished tale, reminding everyone that true magic lies not only in enchanted places but also in the love, unity, and selflessness of the heart. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. The tale of the enchanted garden. Once upon a time, in a small village at the edge of a vast forest, there lived a young girl named Elara. Elara was known throughout the village for her love of plants and flowers. Her garden was the most beautiful in all the land, filled with blossoms of every color and scent. People from neighboring villages would travel just to see her garden, and some even said that it was enchanted. But Elara's garden held a secret. In the very center of the garden, hidden beneath a bed of roses, there was a small, golden key. This key had been passed down through generations in Elara's family, but no one knew what it unlocked. Elara's grandmother had told her that the key held great power and was meant to open the door to something truly wondrous, but the door itself had been lost to time. One day, while tending to her roses, Elara heard a faint whisper on the wind. She paused, listening closely, and realized that the voice was coming from the direction of the forest. Intrigued, she followed the voice, leaving her garden behind and entering the shadowy woods. The voice grew louder as Elara ventured deeper into the forest. Finally, she came to a clearing she had never seen before. In the center of the clearing stood a magnificent tree, its bark shimmering like silver and its leaves glowing with a soft, golden light. At the base of the tree was a small door, intricately carved with symbols and patterns that seemed to shift and change as Elara looked at them. Elara's heart skipped a beat. Could this be the door that the golden key was meant to unlock? She reached into her pocket, where she always kept the key, and felt a strange warmth as her fingers touched it. With trembling hands, she approached the door and inserted the key into the lock. The door opened with a soft click, revealing a spiral staircase that led down into the earth. Elara hesitated for only a moment before stepping through the door and descending the stairs. As she walked, the air around her grew warmer, and the faint smell of flowers filled the air. When Elara reached the bottom of the staircase, she found herself in an underground garden unlike anything she had ever seen. The flowers here were enormous, their petals shimmering with colors she had never imagined. Trees with silver bark and golden leaves towered above her, and a gentle, musical breeze rustled through the foliage. In the center of the garden stood a small, crystal-clear pond. Beside the pond was a beautiful woman with long, flowing hair that sparkled like the stars. She wore a gown made of petals and leaves, and her eyes were as bright as the sun. "Welcome, Elara," the woman said, her voice like the soft rustle of leaves in the wind. "I am Silva, the guardian of the enchanted garden." Elara bowed respectfully. "It's an honor to meet you, Lady Silva. But how do you know my name?" Silva smiled warmly. "I have watched over your family for many generations. You are the first in a long time to find the door to this garden. The key you hold is a powerful artifact, one that was created to protect this place." Elara looked around in wonder. "This garden, it's the most beautiful place I've ever seen. But why was it hidden?" "This garden holds ancient magic," Silva explained. "It is the source of life and growth in your world. Long ago, it was open to all, but when darkness threatened to consume the land, it was hidden away to protect its power. Your family was entrusted with the key to keep it safe until the time came when the garden could be revealed once more." Elara's eyes widened. "Does that mean the darkness is gone?" Silva shook her head. "Not entirely. The darkness still lingers, but it is weak. The time has come for the garden's magic to be shared with the world again, to help heal and restore the balance." Elara felt a sense of responsibility settle on her shoulders. "What must I do, Lady Silva?" "You must care for this garden, as you care for your own. But more importantly, you must share its magic with those who need it. The flowers here have healing properties, the trees can grant wisdom, and the water from the pond can cleanse any illness. Use this magic wisely, and you will help restore the world." Elara nodded, determined. "I will do my best." Silva smiled and placed a delicate flower in Elara's hand. "This flower will guide you when you need it most. It will show you the way back to this garden and help you understand its secrets." With that, Silva began to fade, her form merging with the light of the garden. "Remember, Elara," she whispered, "you are the guardian now." Elara watched as Silva disappeared, leaving her alone in the garden. She felt a deep connection to this place, as if it had always been a part of her. She knew that she had a great responsibility, but she also knew that she was ready. After spending some time exploring the garden and gathering a few of its magical flowers, Elara returned to the spiral staircase. As she ascended, the door closed behind her, but she felt the golden key still warm in her pocket, a reminder of the magic she had discovered. When Elara emerged from the forest, she returned to her village, where she began to share the magic of the enchanted garden with those in need. The flowers healed the sick, the tree's wisdom guided the lost, and the water cleansed those who were burdened by illness. The village prospered, and word of Elara's magic spread far and wide. But Alara never forgot her promise to Silva. She tended to the garden in the forest with as much care and love as she did her own. And every so often, when the world needed a little extra magic, she would return to the enchanted garden, guided by the flower Silva had given her. And so, Alara became the guardian of the enchanted garden, a protector of its magic and a healer of the world. Her village flourished, and the darkness that once threatened the land faded away, replaced by the light and life that Alara nurtured with her kind heart and gentle spirit. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. The Dragon and the Glass Mountain. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom surrounded by lush forests and rolling hills, there was a legendary mountain made entirely of glass. The Glass Mountain shimmered in the sunlight and glowed softly under the moonlight. It was a sight of awe and wonder, but it was also a place of great mystery, for at the very top lived a dragon named Ember. Ember was no ordinary dragon. His scales were not the dark, menacing kind seen in most tales, but instead gleamed like molten gold, reflecting the light in dazzling patterns. Ember had guarded the Glass Mountain for centuries, and it was said that he had been placed there by a powerful enchantress to protect a secret treasure hidden within the mountain's crystalline walls. The enchantment of the Glass Mountain. The people of the nearby village of Lemuria often gazed at the mountain from afar, dreaming of the treasures it held. Many brave souls had tried to climb the Glass Mountain to uncover its secrets, but the smooth, slippery surface made it impossible to scale, and Ember's watchful eyes saw all. In the heart of the village lived a young girl named Alara. Unlike the other villagers, Alara did not dream of riches or fame. She was curious and kind, and she loved stories of adventure and magic. Every evening, she would sit by the fire with her grandmother, who would tell her tales of the Glass Mountain and the dragon that guarded it. One day, as Alara wandered through the forest collecting herbs, she found herself standing at the base of the Glass Mountain. She marveled at its beauty, but as she looked up, she noticed something strange. The mountain seemed to shimmer differently than usual, as if it were calling out to her. A whisper from the mountain. As Alara stood there, she heard a soft, musical whisper carried on the wind. "Seek the heart, find the flame, within lies the key to end the dragon's reign." Startled, Alara looked around, but there was no one in sight. The whisper seemed to come from the mountain itself. Driven by her curiosity, she decided to return to the village and ask her grandmother about the strange message. That evening, Alara told her grandmother about the whisper she had heard. Her grandmother's eyes widened in surprise. "The heart of the mountain," she said slowly, "is said to be where the true treasure lies. But it's not gold or jewels. It's something far more powerful, something that could change the fate of the entire kingdom." Alara's curiosity only grew. "What could it be?" she asked. "The heart of the mountain is a magical gem called the Heartstone," her grandmother explained. "It's said to have the power to control the elements and bring peace to the land. But it has been hidden for centuries, and no one knows how to find it, except for the dragon, Ember." The journey begins. Alara knew what she had to do. Despite the dangers, she decided to seek the Heartstone and uncover the secret of the Glass Mountain. She packed a small bag with food, a lantern, and a tiny flute her grandmother had given her when she was a child. Early the next morning, Alara set out for the Glass Mountain. As she approached, she noticed that the mountain's surface seemed to ripple and shift, making it appear even more impossible to climb. But Alara remembered the whisper, "Seek the heart, find the flame." She realized that the path to the Heartstone might not be a physical climb, but a journey of the heart. She stood at the base of the mountain and began to play her flute. The sweet, lilting notes floated up towards the peak. As she played, the glassy surface of the mountain began to change. The smooth surface rippled like water, and a pathway of light appeared, spiraling up towards the summit. Alara's heart raced as she stepped onto the path. It was solid beneath her feet, yet it glowed with a warmth that felt alive. She followed the path upwards, the light guiding her way as it wound around the mountain. Meeting Ember as Alara neared the top, she saw a flash of golden light ahead. There, perched at the very peak of the mountain, was Ember. His eyes, like molten lava, watched her approach. But instead of attacking, the dragon simply stared at her, as if waiting. Elara swallowed her fear and stepped forward. "I've come to find the Heartstone," she said, her voice steady. "The mountain called to me." Ember's gaze softened, and to Elara's surprise, he spoke. "The Heartstone is the source of the mountain's magic, and of my own," the dragon rumbled. "For centuries, I have guarded it, bound by the enchantress's spell. But you are different from those who have come before. You did not seek gold or glory, but something deeper. The Heartstone has chosen you." Ember lowered his head, revealing a glowing crystal embedded in the mountain's peak, just beneath his massive claws. The Heartstone pulsed with a gentle, rhythmic light, like the beating of a heart. The true treasure. Elara stepped forward, her hand trembling as she reached out to touch the Heartstone. The moment her fingers brushed against it, a wave of warmth and light enveloped her. She felt the power of the mountain, the dragon, and the ancient magic all at once. The whispering voice returned, but this time it was clear and strong. "The heart of the mountain is not just a stone, it is the love, the courage, and the kindness within you. Use its power wisely, and the kingdom will thrive." As the light faded, Elara found herself standing at the base of the mountain once more. The Heartstone rested in her hand, glowing softly. The glass mountain had returned to its original form, and Ember was nowhere to be seen. Elara returned to the village, where she shared her story and the power of the Heartstone. The villagers were amazed and grateful, for with the Heartstone, Elara was able to bring prosperity and peace to Willowbrook. The once dormant fields bloomed, the rivers flowed with crystal clear water, and the village thrived like never before. As for Ember, the dragon was freed from his centuries-long guardianship and was last seen soaring across the skies, his golden scales glinting in the sunlight. And so, the glass mountain remained, still shimmering in the light, a testament to the power of the heart and the courage of a young girl named Elara. Once upon a time, in a village nestled between rolling hills and shimmering lakes, there was a magical fairground known as Celestial Park. Every night, the park sparkled with fairy lights and the laughter of children. But its most extraordinary attraction was the Starlit Carousel, a grand ride adorned with golden horses and glittering stars that twinkled as though they were alive. Legend had it that the Starlit Carousel had the power to grant one special wish each year to a child who demonstrated true bravery and kindness. However, the carousel's magic had remained dormant for many years, as no child had ever been able to unlock its secret. One evening, a young girl named Luna arrived at Celestial Park. Luna was known for her gentle nature and her unwavering courage. Her village was experiencing a series of misfortunes, crops failing, animals falling ill, and the river that supplied their water was running dry. The villagers were disheartened, and Luna, feeling their pain deeply, decided she would find a way to help. As she walked through the fairground, Luna's eyes were drawn to the Starlit Carousel. Its horses were covered in dust, and its once vibrant lights had dimmed. Determined to help her village, Luna approached the carousel and spoke softly, "I need your help to restore our village's prosperity. Please, grant my wish." To her surprise, the carousel's lights flickered and then illuminated the entire fairground. A gentle voice echoed from the carousel, "To awaken the magic, you must complete 3 tasks that will test your heart and spirit. Only then will the carousel grant your wish." Luna nodded resolutely. The carousel's first task appeared, a riddle etched in stardust on a golden plaque. It read, "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Luna thought carefully, her mind racing through the possibilities. She remembered the village's recent troubles and how important it was to find the right answer to move forward. After pondering, she whispered, "A fire." The stardust on the plaque glowed warmly, and the carousel's golden horses began to sparkle more brightly. The second task appeared, a path lined with delicate, glowing lanterns that led into a dark, enchanted forest. With her heart steady and her purpose clear, Luna walked along the path. In the forest, she encountered a lost fox cub, shivering and frightened. Despite the eerie darkness, Luna gently picked up the cub and comforted it, her warmth dispelling the fear. She followed the path until she found a hidden glade where a small, glowing crystal lay on a bed of moss. The crystal was the key to the second task. As Luna picked up the crystal, the forest brightened, and the path back to the carousel was revealed. The final task awaited her, a grand, magical gate that required the correct combination of stars to be aligned to open. Looking at the sky, Luna noticed that the stars seemed to form patterns that resembled the constellations she had studied as a child. With careful observation and intuition, she arranged the stars in the correct order. The gate creaked open, revealing the carousel's center where a small, ancient chest awaited. The chest opened to reveal a golden key. Luna took the key and returned to the carousel. As she inserted the key into the carousel's lock, a brilliant light enveloped the entire fairground. The carousel spun gracefully, its lights glowing with a radiant energy. The magic of the carousel flowed into the village, and overnight, the crops began to flourish, the animals regained their health, and the river's waters surged back to life. The next morning, Luna's village woke up to a scene of wonder. The fields were green and bountiful, the animals were lively, and the river flowed with crystal-clear water. The villagers rejoiced and celebrated Luna's bravery and kindness. The starlit carousel remained a cherished part of Celestial Park, and every year, its light sparkled with renewed magic, reminding all who visited of Luna's incredible journey. And so, the village thrived, and Luna's name was remembered as the girl who brought back hope and prosperity through her pure heart and unwavering courage. And they all lived happily ever after, with the starlit carousel forever shining as a beacon of magic and possibility. Once upon a time, in a quaint village surrounded by whispering woods and rolling hills, there was a mysterious garden known only as the Midnight Garden. It was said to be a magical place where flowers bloomed under the moonlight, and hidden wonders awaited those who visited after dusk. However, no one dared enter, for it was rumored that only those with a pure heart could discover its secrets. In this village lived a curious girl named Elara. She had a heart full of kindness and a spirit of adventure. Every night, she would gaze at the Midnight Garden from her window, wondering what lay beyond its gates. The villagers often spoke of the garden's beauty, but no one had ever ventured inside. One night, as the full moon cast its silvery light over the land, Elara decided to uncover the mystery of the Midnight Garden. She put on her warmest cloak, grabbed a lantern, and tiptoed out of her house. With a deep breath, she made her way through the forest to the garden's entrance. The gate was old and covered in ivy, but it creaked open with a gentle push. Elara stepped inside, her lantern casting a soft glow on the path. As she walked, she noticed the air was filled with a sweet fragrance, and the flowers seemed to shimmer in the moonlight. The garden was more beautiful than she had ever imagined. Elara wandered deeper into the garden until she reached a sparkling fountain at its center. The water danced like liquid silver, and at its base lay a golden key. Beside the fountain was a small, ancient book resting on a pedestal. The book had a lock, and the golden key fit perfectly. With a mixture of excitement and curiosity, Elara unlocked the book. Inside, she found an old parchment with a riddle written in elegant script, underscore, to find the garden's greatest treasure, seek the path of light and pleasure. 3 tasks await, brave and true, complete them all, and dreams come through. Underscore Elara read the riddle aloud and felt a rush of determination. The garden was filled with magical creatures and hidden paths, and she knew she had to complete the tasks to discover the treasure. Her first task was to find the path of light. She followed the glowing flowers that seemed to lead her through the garden. The flowers lit up one by one as she approached, forming a glowing trail. At the end of the path, Elara found a majestic tree with shimmering leaves. At its base was a small chest. Inside the chest was a silver locket. As Elara opened it, she saw a tiny, enchanted mirror. It showed her a reflection of a smiling face. The mirror seemed to hold a special magic, but she knew there was more to discover. The second task was to find the path of pleasure. Elara followed the sounds of joyful laughter and music. She arrived at a clearing where fairy lights floated in the air and cheerful pixies danced around a large, glowing mushroom. The pixies invited her to join their dance. Elara danced with the pixies, and as she twirled and laughed, she felt a sense of pure joy. The pixies gifted her a delicate flower with petals that sparkled like stars. They told her the flower would guide her to the final task. With the flower in hand, Elara continued her journey. The third task was to find the path of truth. Guided by the sparkling petals, she arrived at a moonlit glade where a wise old owl perched on a branch. "Welcome, Elara," the owl said in a gentle voice. "To complete the final task, you must answer a question of great importance. What is the true nature of the Midnight Garden?" Elara thought deeply. The garden was full of beauty and magic, but its true nature, she realized, was not just the wonders she had seen but the kindness and joy it inspired. She spoke her answer aloud. "The Midnight Garden's true nature is the magic of love and the happiness it brings to those who enter with a pure heart." The owl nodded approvingly and flapped its wings. "You have answered correctly. The Midnight Garden's greatest treasure is the ability to bring joy and magic into the hearts of those who believe." Suddenly, the garden began to shimmer with a brilliant light, and Elara saw the entire garden transformed into a place of radiant beauty. The flowers glowed with an even brighter light, the fountain sparkled with new energy, and the air was filled with an enchanting melody. Elara realized that the true treasure was not a physical object but the experience and the joy she had found. She thanked the owl and the magical creatures of the garden. As dawn approached, Elara left the Midnight Garden, her heart full of happiness and wonder. She knew the garden's magic would always be with her, reminding her of the importance of kindness, joy, and the magic within a pure heart. From that day on, the villagers spoke of Elara's adventure with awe, and the Midnight Garden became a symbol of the magic that lies in believing in the beauty and wonder of the world around us. Once upon a time, in a kingdom called Eldoria, there was a small village named Willowbrook. The village was surrounded by dense forests, sparkling streams, and rolling hills. Willowbrook was a peaceful place, but its people were struggling due to a terrible drought. The crops withered, the animals grew thin, and the once bubbling brook that gave the village its name had nearly dried up. In this village lived a young boy named Finn, known for his kind heart and unwavering optimism. Finn lived with his grandmother, who often told him stories about magical creatures and ancient treasures. His favorite story was about the golden feather, a magical feather from the phoenix of the sun. It was said that the feather could bring life and prosperity wherever it went. One evening, as the sun set over the parched fields, Finn's grandmother called him close. "Finn," she said softly, "the time has come for you to seek the golden feather. Our village is in desperate need, and I believe you have the courage to find it." With his grandmother's blessing and a small satchel of provisions, Finn set off early the next morning. He followed the path through the forest, guided by the tales his grandmother had told him. The journey was long and arduous, but Finn's determination never wavered. As he ventured deeper into the forest, Finn encountered a wise old owl named Athos. Athos perched on a low branch and spoke, "To find the golden feather, you must prove your wisdom. Answer this riddle. What has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees, up, up it goes, and yet never grows?" Finn thought for a moment, recalling his grandmother's stories. "A mountain," he answered. Athos nodded approvingly and flapped his wings, revealing a hidden path. "Follow this path, and you will find what you seek." Finn continued along the path until he reached a wide, sparkling river. The river's current was swift, and there was no bridge in sight. As he pondered how to cross, a graceful swan glided up to him. "To cross the river, you must prove your kindness," the swan said. "In the reeds, there is a trapped fish. Free it, and I will help you." Finn found the fish tangled in the reeds, struggling to break free. Gently, he untangled the reeds and released the fish into the water. The swan, true to her word, allowed Finn to climb onto her back and ferried him across the river. On the other side, Finn found himself at the foot of a tall, craggy mountain. The path to the top was steep and treacherous, but Finn knew he had to continue. Halfway up the mountain, he encountered a weary traveler sitting by the side of the path. The traveler looked up at Finn with tired eyes and said, "To reach the peak, you must prove your bravery. I have been too afraid to continue. Will you help me?" Finn offered the traveler some of his provisions and encouraged him to keep going. Together, they climbed the mountain, supporting each other when the path became too difficult. When they finally reached the summit, the traveler thanked Finn and revealed himself to be a powerful sorcerer named Alaric. "You have shown great kindness and bravery, Finn," Alaric said. "I will now reveal the location of the phoenix." Alaric waved his hand, and a beam of light pointed to a hidden cave on the mountainside. Inside the cave, the Phoenix of the Sun sat on a nest of golden feathers. The phoenix's fiery eyes watched Finn as he approached. "Why have you come here, young one?" the phoenix asked in a voice that echoed like a song. With respect, Finn explained the plight of his village and his quest to find the golden feather. The phoenix listened intently and then nodded. "You have shown great courage, kindness, and wisdom on your journey. I will grant you one of my feathers to save your village." The phoenix plucked a single, glowing feather from its nest and handed it to Finn. The feather shimmered with a light that was both warm and soothing. "Use this feather wisely," the phoenix advised. "Its magic is powerful but must be used with a pure heart." Finn thanked the phoenix and began his journey back to Willowbrook. When he returned, he found the villagers gathered in the town square, their faces filled with hope and curiosity. Finn held the golden feather high and spoke, "This feather is a gift from the Phoenix of the Sun. It will bring life and prosperity back to our village." He touched the feather to the ground, and immediately, the earth began to tremble. Green shoots sprouted from the parched soil, the brook bubbled back to life, and the air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers. The villagers cheered and embraced one another, their despair replaced with joy and gratitude. From that day forward, Willowbrook flourished. The crops grew bountiful, the animals thrived, and the brook ran clear and strong. Finn was hailed as a hero, and the golden feather was placed in a special shrine at the heart of the village, a reminder of the courage and kindness that had saved them all. And so, the village of Willowbrook lived happily ever after, forever grateful to the brave young boy who brought hope and life back to their land. The end. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Luminera, there was a hidden sanctuary known as the Enchanted Meadow. This meadow was famous for its sparkling, ever-blooming flowers and the ancient starfruit tree that stood at its center. It was said that the starfruit tree could grant one heartfelt wish to anyone who approached it with a spirit of generosity and selflessness. In a cozy cottage at the edge of Luminera lived a kind-hearted girl named Eloan. Eloan had a special bond with nature and was loved by everyone in her village for her compassion. Her closest companion was a playful and clever squirrel named Nutmeg, who had a knack for solving riddles and finding hidden treasures. One clear, starry night, as the full moon cast its gentle glow over Luminera, Eloan and Nutmeg discovered an old, ornate key hidden beneath the roots of a great oak tree near their cottage. The key was engraved with a star symbol and accompanied by a faded note that read, "The Enchanted Meadow awaits. Use the key on the night of stars to unlock the magic within." Excited and intrigued, Eloan and Nutmeg decided to embark on a journey to find the Enchanted Meadow and the legendary starfruit tree. They followed the clues in the note and ventured into the moonlit forest, guided by the shimmering light of the stars above. The forest path led them to the first challenge, the Gate of Whispers. This gate was adorned with intricate carvings and was guarded by a gentle, glowing spirit who spoke. "To enter the Enchanted Meadow, you must answer this riddle. I am always in front of you, but you can never see me. What am I?" Eloan thought carefully, and Nutmeg chattered excitedly. "The future," Eloan answered. The spirit smiled and the gate slowly opened, revealing a path to the meadow. As they continued, they encountered the second challenge, the Bridge of Echoes. This was a bridge made of translucent crystal that spanned a sparkling river. The bridge would only reveal its path when they sang a harmonious melody. Nutmeg hopped up and down, and Eloan began to sing a sweet, melodious tune. The bridge shimmered and began to glow, forming a solid path that led them across the river and closer to their destination. Finally, they reached the Enchanted Meadow. The meadow was filled with the soft, magical light of countless glowing flowers. At the center stood the majestic starfruit tree, its branches heavy with star-shaped fruits that glowed softly in the moonlight. To make their wish, Eloan and Nutmeg had to show their true intentions. They approached the starfruit tree and Aloan spoke from the heart, "I wish for the happiness and well-being of all the people in our village. I want them to have joy, peace, and prosperity." As Aloan spoke her wish, the starfruit tree's branches glowed brightly, and the stars above seemed to twinkle more vividly. A gentle breeze carried the magic of the starfruit tree across the land, touching every corner of Luminera. When Aloan and Nutmeg returned to their village, they found it transformed. The fields were lush and green, the stream sparkled with clear, refreshing water, and the people were filled with joy and contentment. The story of Aloan and Nutmeg's adventure and the magic of the enchanted meadow became a beloved tale in Luminera. It reminded everyone of the power of selfless wishes and the importance of kindness and generosity. And so, the enchanted meadow remained a place of wonder and enchantment, where dreams and wishes came alive under the light of the stars. The end. Once upon a time, in the peaceful kingdom of Leora, there was a magical forest known as the Enchanted Grove. This forest was famous for its ancient trees that sparkled with silver leaves and the legendary Silver Star, a magical star that granted one wish to those who found it with a heart full of hope and courage. The Silver Star was hidden deep within the forest and could only be revealed on the night of the silver moon, when the moonlight turned the world into a shimmering wonderland. In a charming village at the edge of the forest lived a kind-hearted and adventurous girl named Aria. Aria was known for her bravery and her love of nature. Her best friend was a playful and clever fox named Finn, who had a knack for finding hidden paths and solving puzzles. One evening, as the night of the silver moon approached, Aria and Finn discovered an old, beautifully decorated compass buried under a bed of moss in their garden. The compass had intricate silver engravings and a note that read, "The Enchanted Grove awaits. Follow the compass on the night of the silver moon to find the Silver Star." Excited by the prospect of finding the Silver Star and making a wish, Aria and Finn set out on their journey. The path to the Enchanted Grove was illuminated by the soft, silver light of the moon and the gentle glow of fireflies. As they entered the forest, they were greeted by the enchanting beauty of the moonlit trees and the soothing sounds of the night. However, the path to the Silver Star was guarded by 3 magical challenges. The first challenge was the Crystal Clearing. This was a magical clearing filled with shimmering crystals that reflected the moonlight in dazzling patterns. To pass through, they needed to arrange the crystals in a specific pattern that would reveal the correct path. Finn used his sharp eyes to study the patterns of the crystals, while Aria carefully followed his directions. They arranged the crystals according to the patterns and a hidden pathway was revealed, leading them deeper into the forest. The second challenge was the River of Dreams. This river flowed with sparkling, silver water and was lined with glowing lilies. To cross the river, they needed to solve a riddle spoken by the river's guardian, a graceful, shimmering water spirit. "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Aria thought for a moment and then answered, "A joke." The water spirit's smile illuminated the river, and a bridge of glowing lilies appeared, allowing them to cross safely. The final challenge was the Maze of Moonlight. In this maze, the walls were lined with silver vines that seemed to shift and change direction. To find their way out, they needed to follow the moonlight that shone through gaps in the vines. With Finn's keen sense of direction and Aria's careful observation, they navigated through the maze and emerged into a serene glade where the Silver Star awaited. At the center of the glade, bathed in the magical light of the silver moon, floated the Silver Star, its light shimmering softly. To make their wish, Aria needed to speak her wish aloud with sincerity. Aria approached the Silver Star and spoke from her heart, "I wish for the happiness and prosperity of everyone in Leora. I want to see our village and our land thrive with joy and peace." As Aria's wish was spoken, the Silver Star's light expanded, and a soft, magical glow spread throughout the Enchanted Grove and beyond. The moonlight seemed to shine even brighter, and the magic of the Silver Star touched every corner of Leora, bringing joy and prosperity to all. When Aria and Finn returned to their village, they found it transformed. The fields were lush with crops, the animals were healthy and joyful, and the people were filled with a deep sense of contentment and harmony. The story of Aria and Finn's adventure and the magic of the Silver Star became a cherished tale in Leora, reminding everyone of the power of hope, courage, and the magic that lies within their hearts. And so, the Enchanted Grove remained a place of wonder and enchantment, where dreams and wishes came to life under the light of the silver moon. The end. Once upon a time, in a serene valley surrounded by towering mountains, there was a charming village called Mistwood. Mistwood was known for its enchanting fog that rolled in each morning, giving the village a mystical air. At the center of Mistwood stood an ancient clock tower, which the villagers believed held the secret to their magical fog. In this village lived a bright and adventurous girl named Elara. Elara was fascinated by the clock tower and its mysterious workings. Her grandmother had once told her stories about the timekeeper, a magical being who controlled the flow of time and the mystical fog. According to legend, the timekeeper's magical hourglass had been lost centuries ago, and with it, the true power of the fog. One foggy morning, as Elara was exploring the village, she stumbled upon a hidden compartment in the clock tower's base. Inside, she found an old, ornate key with an inscription: "To find the timekeeper's treasure, seek the heart of the enchanted forest when the moon is full." Determined to uncover the mystery, Elara decided to set out on a quest. That night, the full moon cast a silver glow over Mistwood, guiding her toward the enchanted forest. The forest was known for its magical creatures and hidden paths, and Elara was both excited and a bit nervous about the journey ahead. As she ventured into the forest, the moonlight illuminated her path. She soon encountered a wise old owl perched on a low branch. The owl's eyes glowed with a soft, golden light. "Welcome, traveler," the owl said in a deep, soothing voice. "To find the timekeeper's treasure, you must complete 3 trials. Only then will you find the heart of the forest." The first trial was the trial of light. Elara was led to a glade where she saw a large, glowing crystal encased in a protective barrier of shadows. The owl explained that to dispel the shadows, Elara had to find and place 5 enchanted lanterns around the crystal. Each lantern had a different color and emitted a unique light. Elara carefully placed each lantern in its designated spot, and the shadows receded, revealing the glowing crystal. The second trial was the trial of sound. Elara entered a meadow filled with shimmering, musical flowers. The flowers played a gentle melody, and the owl told her to listen carefully. The melody contained a hidden pattern that Elara had to replicate using a set of magical chimes provided by the owl. By carefully mimicking the melody, Elara unlocked a hidden pathway leading deeper into the forest. The final trial was the trial of wisdom. Elara arrived at a beautiful, ancient tree with a door in its trunk. The door was adorned with intricate carvings in a riddle: "I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?" Elara thought hard and answered, "A map." The door creaked open, revealing a hidden chamber. Inside the chamber, Elara found the timekeeper's hourglass, its sands shimmering with an ethereal light. As she approached, a soft, melodious voice spoke. It was the timekeeper, a gentle spirit who had been waiting for someone with a pure heart to restore the balance of time and magic. "Brave and wise Elara," the timekeeper said, "you have proven your worthiness. This hourglass holds the power to guide and protect your village. With it, you can restore the magic of the fog and bring harmony to Mistwood." Elara took the hourglass and thanked the timekeeper. With a renewed sense of purpose, she made her way back to Mistwood. As she arrived, she placed the hourglass in the clock tower, and a wave of shimmering light spread throughout the village. The magical fog returned, more vibrant and enchanting than ever before. The villagers were amazed by the transformation and celebrated Elara's bravery and wisdom. The clock tower's chimes rang with a joyful melody, and the fog danced gracefully through the valley. Elara's adventure became a cherished story in Mistwood, a testament to the power of courage, kindness, and wisdom. The village thrived under the magical fog, and Elara lived a life filled with joy and fulfillment, knowing she had helped restore the magic that had once been lost. And so, Mistwood continued to enchant all who visited, and Elara's story was remembered for generations to come. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a coastal village called Seabreeze, there stood a magnificent lighthouse at the edge of a rocky cliff. This lighthouse was not only a guide for sailors but also a source of magical light that kept the village safe from stormy seas and hidden dangers. In this village lived a young girl named Isla. Isla was known for her curiosity and love for the sea. Every day, she would explore the shores, collecting seashells and dreaming of adventures beyond the horizon. Her greatest wish was to one day climb to the top of the lighthouse and see the world from its magnificent view. One evening, a fierce storm rolled into Seabreeze. The winds howled, and the sea churned violently. As the storm raged, the lighthouse's light began to flicker and dim, casting a shadow of fear over the village. The villagers gathered, worried that the lighthouse's magic was failing. Isla, feeling a deep sense of responsibility, decided to find out what was wrong. She made her way through the storm to the lighthouse, determined to restore its light. With each step, the wind howled and the rain pelted down, but Isla's resolve was unwavering. When she reached the lighthouse, she discovered that the great lantern at the top was shrouded in an eerie, dark fog. Isla knew she had to find a way to clear the fog and restore the light. Remembering the tales her grandmother had told her, she recalled that the lighthouse was guarded by a magical sea spirit named Thalassa, who could only be summoned in times of great need. With the storm raging around her, Isla climbed the spiral staircase to the top of the lighthouse. As she reached the lantern room, she saw Thalassa, a graceful spirit with shimmering blue hair and eyes like the deep sea. "Welcome, brave Isla," Thalassa said with a voice like the soothing sound of waves. "I see you have come to save the lighthouse." Isla nodded. "The light is fading, and the storm is growing worse. How can I help?" Thalassa explained, "The lighthouse's magic is tied to the sea and the moon. The storm has disturbed the balance. You must restore it by finding the 3 lost moonstones, which have been scattered across the ocean. Each moonstone holds a piece of the lighthouse's power." Without hesitation, Isla agreed to the task. Thalassa gave her a magical compass that would guide her to the moonstones. With a burst of courage, Isla set out into the stormy sea, guided by the compass and her determination. The first moonstone was hidden in a submerged cavern. Isla dove into the turbulent waters and, with the help of her underwater breathing charm given by Thalassa, she navigated through the cavern. There, amidst the glowing coral and sea creatures, she found the first moonstone nestled in an ancient chest. The second moonstone was located on the back of a giant sea turtle. Isla spotted the turtle amidst the waves and, with great care, she retrieved the moonstone from its shell, all while making sure not to harm the gentle creature. The final moonstone was hidden in the heart of a swirling whirlpool. Using all her strength and skill, Isla navigated the whirlpool's treacherous currents and grasped the moonstone from the depths, feeling a surge of magical energy as she did. With the 3 moonstones safely in her possession, Isla returned to the lighthouse. The storm had calmed slightly, and she climbed back up to the lantern room. Thalassa awaited her, and together they placed the moonstones into the lantern's base. As the moonstones were set in place, a brilliant light burst forth, cutting through the darkness and dispelling the fog. The lighthouse's magic was restored, and its light shone more brightly than ever before. The storm subsided, and the sea grew calm once more. The villagers of Seabreeze celebrated Isla's bravery and the return of the lighthouse's light. They honored her with a grand feast and declared her the guardian of the lighthouse. From that day on, Isla continued to explore the sea and protect the lighthouse, and Thalassa remained as a friend and ally. And so, the lighthouse stood tall, guiding sailors safely home and shining its light far and wide. Isla's courage became a legend, inspiring others to face their fears and seek out the magic within their hearts. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering lake, there lived a kind-hearted young woman named Clara. Clara had a unique gift. She could make flowers bloom with a single touch. Her garden was renowned for its vibrant, ever-blooming flowers, which attracted visitors from far and wide. One evening, as Clara was tending to her garden, she noticed a starfall, a single bright star descending gently toward her. the star landed softly on her garden path, and to Clara's amazement, it transformed into a tiny, glowing creature with delicate wings and a twinkling crown. "Hello," the creature said in a melodic voice. "I am Leora, a star fairy. I have come to thank you for the beauty you bring to the world with your gift. For many years, I have watched your garden from the night sky, and it brings light and joy to everyone who sees it." Clara was astonished. "I had no idea my garden reached the stars," she said, blushing. Leora fluttered her wings gracefully. "Indeed, it does. And now, I have a special request. The Enchanted Meadow, a place of magic and wonder, is in peril. A dark spell has withered its flowers, and only the touch of a true heart can restore its beauty. Would you help us?" Clara agreed without hesitation, her heart swelling with a desire to help. Leora guided her to a hidden grove at the edge of the village, where the entrance to the Enchanted Meadow was concealed. With a wave of Leora's wand, a hidden door in the grove opened, revealing a shimmering path leading to the meadow. As they entered the Enchanted Meadow, Clara saw the once beautiful landscape now covered in a dull, gray haze. The flowers were wilted, and the air felt heavy with sadness. Leora explained that a sorcerer had cast a spell to drain the meadow's magic, hoping to control its wonders for himself. Clara knelt down and touched the ground, sending a wave of warmth through the meadow. Flowers began to stir, and small shoots of green emerged from the soil. Clara continued to walk through the meadow, her touch reviving the flowers one by one. Each flower that bloomed added a splash of color and renewed energy to the once sad landscape. As Clara worked, she felt a presence behind her. It was the sorcerer, cloaked in dark robes and with a scowl on his face. "You cannot undo my spell," he declared. "The magic of this meadow is mine to control." But Leora stepped forward bravely. True magic cannot be controlled by force. It thrives on kindness and love. The sorcerer sneered and attempted to cast a new spell to halt Clara's progress, but as he did, Clara's touch caused the flowers to sparkle with a radiant light, overpowering the dark spell. The enchantment protecting the meadow began to mend, and the sorcerer's powers waned. Desperate, the sorcerer tried to flee, but the meadow's magic had grown too strong. The flowers and trees, now glowing with vibrant colors, surrounded him and gently, yet firmly, ushered him out of the meadow. He was forced to leave, his dark spell dissolved by the meadow's renewed magic. With the sorcerer gone, the Enchanted Meadow flourished once more. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, and a soft, golden light bathed the landscape. Clara and Leora stood in awe of the transformation. "Thank you, Clara," Leora said with a grateful smile. "You have restored the magic of the Enchanted Meadow. Your kindness and courage have proven that the true power of magic lies in the heart." Clara smiled back, her heart full of joy. "I'm just glad I could help." Leora offered Clara a gift, a single star-shaped flower that would forever remind her of the magic she had restored. As a token of gratitude, Leora promised that Clara's garden would always be blessed with a special light that would make it even more enchanting. Clara returned to her village with the star-shaped flower in hand. Her garden became more magical than ever, glowing with a soft, otherworldly light. The villagers marveled at the beauty of Clara's garden, unaware of the magical adventure she had experienced. As the years passed, Clara's garden continued to be a place of wonder, bringing joy to all who visited. The Enchanted Meadow thrived, a reminder of the power of kindness and the magic that lies within the heart of those who seek to help others. And so, Clara's legacy lived on in both her garden and the Enchanted Meadow, a testament to the lasting impact of a true and caring heart. The end. Once upon a time, in the mystical kingdom of Luminera, there was a quaint village called Starhaven, nestled between towering mountains and a shimmering lake. The villagers lived harmoniously, their lives intertwined with the magic that pulsed through the land. At the heart of Starhaven was a young girl named Elara, known for her adventurous spirit and her deep connection with nature. Elara lived with her parents, who were both skilled artisans. Her mother, Lyra, was a weaver who created tapestries that depicted the history of their land, and her father, Orion, was a blacksmith who forged tools and ornaments with a touch of enchantment. Elara's best friend was a spirited fox named Ember, who often accompanied her on her explorations. One crisp autumn morning, Elara and Ember discovered an ancient book hidden in the hollow of a grand oak tree at the edge of the village. The book spoke of the lost star, a magical gem that had the power to illuminate the darkest nights and bring hope to the hearts of all who beheld it. According to the book, the lost star lay hidden deep within the enchanted forest, protected by powerful guardians and challenging trials. Inspired by the tale, Elara decided that she must find the lost star and bring its light back to her village, which had recently been plagued by an unusual period of darkness and despair. With Ember by her side, she set off on her journey into the enchanted forest. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the trees grew taller and their leaves whispered ancient secrets. They soon encountered their first challenge, a wide, rushing river with no bridge in sight. As Elara pondered how to cross, a graceful swan glided towards them. "To cross the river, you must solve my riddle," the swan said. "What is always in front of you but can't be seen?" Elara thought for a moment and then replied, "The future." The swan nodded in approval and stretched out its wings, creating a bridge of shimmering feathers over the water. Elara and Ember crossed safely and continued their journey. Soon, they came upon a grove of ancient trees, where a wise old owl perched high in the branches. "To pass through this grove, you must show wisdom," the owl hooted. "Tell me, what can fill a room but takes up no space?" Elara pondered the question, then answered, "Light." The owl's eyes gleamed with approval, and the dense trees parted, revealing a clear path. As they followed the path, they reached a beautiful meadow where a unicorn with a shimmering mane stood. The unicorn looked at them with sad, knowing eyes. "My magic is fading, and I cannot guard the lost star," the unicorn said. "To find the star, you must show compassion. Can you help me?" Elara knelt by the unicorn and used her mother's teachings to gather herbs and create a healing potion. She offered it to the unicorn, who drank it gratefully. Immediately, the unicorn's strength was restored, and it shone with radiant light. "You have shown great kindness," the unicorn said. "Climb onto my back, and I will take you to the lost star." Elara and Ember climbed onto the unicorn, and in a flash of light, they were transported to a hidden glade. At the center of the glade stood a magnificent crystal pedestal, upon which rested the lost star. Its light was so brilliant that it seemed to chase away every shadow. However, as Elara reached for the star, a dark figure emerged from the shadows. It was Malachar, a sorcerer who had long sought the power of the lost star for his own nefarious purposes. "You cannot take the star," Malachar snarled, his eyes blazing with fury. "It belongs to me." Elara stood her ground, her heart pounding but her resolve unwavering. The lost star belongs to those who seek to bring light and hope, not to those who would use it for darkness. Malachar raised his staff, ready to strike with dark magic, but Ember darted forward and knocked the staff from his grasp. In the ensuing struggle, Elara seized the lost star and held it high. A brilliant light burst forth, dispelling the shadows and banishing Malachar from the glade. With the lost star in her hands, Elara made a wish for the darkness over her village to be lifted and for hope to be restored. The star's light enveloped the glade, spreading throughout the forest and beyond, illuminating the entire kingdom of Luminera. Elara and Ember returned to Starhaven as heroes. The villagers celebrated their bravery and the return of the lost star, which was placed in the center of the village to continue its work of bringing light and hope. Elara's name became a legend, inspiring generations with her courage and compassion. And so, the village of Starhaven flourished under the watchful eyes of its brave young hero, living happily ever after. In a tranquil village nestled between rolling hills and a serene lake, there was a small, enchanting glade that came alive each night under the light of the full moon. This glade was known for its magical beauty and the soft, melodic music that seemed to drift through the air, captivating anyone who listened. The source of this music was a legendary silver harp, said to be crafted by the moonlight itself and enchanted to play melodies that could heal hearts and bring joy. The harp, however, was hidden deep within the glade and could only be found by someone with a true heart. One evening, a young woman named Alara, known for her kindness and musical talent, arrived in the village. She had heard tales of the moonlit melody and the magical harp and was eager to see if the stories were true. Alara had a special gift for playing the violin, and she often performed for the villagers, bringing them comfort and joy. As the full moon rose high in the sky, Alara set out towards the glade. The path was shrouded in mist and illuminated by the moon's soft glow. She followed the ethereal light, her heart filled with a mixture of wonder and anticipation. When Alara reached the glade, she was greeted by a breathtaking sight. The moonlight bathed the area in a silvery glow, and the air was filled with the most beautiful, otherworldly music. The sound seemed to beckon her deeper into the glade. Alara carefully made her way through the glade, following the melody. As she walked, she noticed that the flowers and trees seemed to sway rhythmically with the music, as if they were dancing in harmony with the unseen source of the melody. Finally, Alara reached a clearing where the silver harp stood upon a pedestal made of entwined vines and flowers. The harp shimmered with moonlight, its strings glowing softly. Alara approached the harp with reverence, feeling a sense of awe and wonder. The moment she touched the harp, the music seemed to transform, becoming even more enchanting and soothing. Alara, inspired by the magical melody, began to play her violin in harmony with the harp. The combined music created a symphony that resonated throughout the glade, filling the air with a sense of peace and joy. As Alara played, a figure emerged from the shadows of the glade. It was a graceful fairy with delicate wings that sparkled like stardust. The fairy approached Alara with a warm smile. "Thank you for awakening the moonlit melody," the fairy said in a voice like a gentle breeze. "The silver harp has been waiting for someone who understands the true essence of music and its power to heal." Alara's eyes widened with surprise. "Is the music truly magical?" she asked. The fairy nodded. "Indeed. The moonlit melody has the power to bring comfort and joy to those who listen with an open heart. It can heal sorrow and inspire hope." Alara felt a deep sense of gratitude and joy. "I've always believed in the magic of music. I'm honored to have experienced the moonlit melody." The fairy extended her hand and handed Alara a small, luminescent charm shaped like a musical note. "This charm will allow you to carry the essence of the moonlit melody with you. Share its magic with others, and it will continue to bring light and joy wherever you go." Alara accepted the charm with a grateful heart. She played one last, beautiful tune on her violin, and the silver harp's music joined in, creating a final, breathtaking harmony. The fairy smiled and, with a graceful flutter of her wings, vanished into the moonlit night. Alara returned to the village, carrying the charm and the memory of the magical night with her. She continued to perform with even more passion and heart, her music now imbued with the enchanting essence of the moonlit melody. The villagers were touched by Alara's performances, which seemed to carry a special warmth and magic. The charm remained a cherished secret, a symbol of the magic that music can bring to the world. And so, the moonlit melody continued to inspire and heal, its magic spreading far beyond the glade, bringing joy and comfort to all who heard its song. Once upon a time, in the luminous kingdom of Astria, where the night sky was a canvas of shimmering stars, there was a sacred task entrusted to a chosen few, keeping the stars' light alive. This duty was performed by the Star Keepers, wise beings who lived in a grand observatory atop the highest peak. Among the Star Keepers was a young apprentice named Lyra. Lyra was known for her curiosity and her unwavering dedication to the stars. Her dream was to become a full-fledged Star Keeper, but she still had much to learn. The most revered Star Keeper of all was Elder Orion, who had guided and protected the stars for centuries. One evening, as Lyra was polishing the celestial lanterns in the observatory, she overheard a conversation between Elder Orion and the other Star Keepers. They spoke of a looming threat, a dark cloud known as the Shadow Veil that sought to steal the stars' light and plunge Astria into eternal darkness. Determined to prove her worth and protect her beloved stars, Lyra decided to take on the task of finding and dispelling the Shadow Veil. Elder Orion, though initially reluctant, saw the fire in her eyes and entrusted her with a magical star crystal that would guide her on her journey. With the crystal in hand and a heart full of courage, Lyra set off on her quest. The crystal glowed softly, lighting her way as she ventured through enchanted forests, over misty mountains, and across shimmering lakes. Each step of her journey was guided by the crystal's gentle light. Along her path, Lyra encountered various challenges. The first was a forest of whispering trees that tried to lead her astray with confusing riddles. Using her quick thinking and the wisdom she had gained from the Star Keepers, Lyra answered their riddles correctly and continued on her way. Next, she crossed a treacherous bridge guarded by a fearsome dragon named Zephyr. The dragon demanded a toll of bravery and kindness before allowing passage. Lyra spoke to Zephyr with respect and courage, explaining her mission and her desire to protect the stars. Touched by her sincerity, Zephyr allowed her to pass and even gave her a magical scale as a token of good fortune. Finally, Lyra reached the edge of the Shadow Veil. It was a swirling, dark mass that seemed to absorb all light around it. As she approached, the crystal in her hand began to pulse with a brilliant light. Lyra took a deep breath and stepped into the veil, her heart filled with determination. Inside the Shadow Veil, the darkness was oppressive, and Lyra could barely see. But she remembered the teachings of the Star Keepers, that even the smallest light can dispel darkness. Holding the crystal high, she began to sing a song of light and hope, her voice carrying through the gloom. The melody of her song was pure and strong, and as she sang, the crystal's light grew brighter. The Shadow Veil began to retreat, its darkness unraveling in the face of Lyra's unwavering light. The veil fought back, but Lyra's song was relentless, and her courage fueled the crystal's power. At last, the Shadow Veil was dispelled, and the stars shone once more with their radiant light. The night sky returned to its brilliant glory, and the kingdom of Astria was safe again. Exhausted but triumphant, Lyra returned to the observatory. Elder Orion and the other Star Keepers greeted her with pride. They celebrated her bravery and the success of her quest. Lyra had proven herself worthy of becoming a full Star Keeper, her heart shining as brightly as the stars she protected. From that day on, Lyra took her place among the Star Keepers, guiding and safeguarding the stars with wisdom and dedication. The kingdom of Astria thrived under the light of the stars, and Lyra's story became a legend of courage and hope. And so, the stars continued to twinkle in the night sky, a reminder of the light that can overcome even the darkest shadows, thanks to the bravery of one young girl who followed her heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom surrounded by tall, misty mountains and lush green valleys, there was a serene village called Crystalbrook. The village was named after a beautiful lake with crystal-clear waters that shimmered like diamonds under the sunlight. It was said that the lake possessed magical powers, bestowing peace and prosperity upon the village. In Crystalbrook, there lived a young girl named Alina. Alina was known for her compassionate heart and her love for nature. She spent most of her days by the lake, talking to the animals and tending to the vibrant flowers that grew along its shores. She often heard whispers of a legend about a hidden treasure at the bottom of the lake, which could only be found by someone with a pure heart. One summer evening, as Alina was walking by the lake, she noticed the water glowing with an unusual light. Curiosity sparked within her, and she stepped closer to the edge. Suddenly, a graceful swan emerged from the water. Its feathers glistened like silver, and its eyes sparkled with wisdom. Alina, the swan, spoke softly, "I am Selene, the guardian of the Crystal Lake. A great darkness is approaching our land, and only the treasure hidden within the lake can save us. You have been chosen to retrieve it, for your heart is pure and full of kindness." Alina felt a mixture of fear and determination. "How will I find it?" she asked. Selene extended one of her silver feathers to Alina. "Take this feather," she said. "It will guide you to the treasure and protect you from harm. Remember, only true courage and selflessness will reveal the path." With the feather in hand, Alina waded into the lake. As she moved deeper, the water parted before her, creating a pathway. She followed it to the center of the lake, where she found a hidden cave illuminated by a soft, golden glow. Inside the cave, she discovered an ancient chest adorned with intricate carvings. Alina opened the chest, revealing a beautiful, radiant crystal. As she touched it, the crystal emitted a warm, comforting light. Selene appeared beside her, smiling. "You have found the heart of the lake," Selene said. "This crystal holds the power to banish darkness and restore balance to our land. You must take it to the top of Mount Lumina, where its light can shine upon the entire kingdom." Alina knew the journey would be perilous, but she was determined to save her village. She climbed out of the lake, crystal in hand, and began her ascent to Mount Lumina. Along the way, she encountered many challenges. She crossed treacherous ravines, navigated dense forests, and braved harsh winds. As she climbed higher, she met a wounded deer trapped in a thorny thicket. Despite her urgency, Alina couldn't ignore the deer's plight. She carefully freed it, using Selene's feather to heal its wounds. The deer, grateful for her kindness, accompanied her on her journey. Near the summit, a fierce storm threatened to halt her progress. The winds howled, and the skies darkened. But Alina held the crystal close, its light guiding her through the tempest. With every step, the storm seemed to weaken, until finally, she reached the peak. At the top of Mount Lumina, Alina placed the crystal on an ancient pedestal. The crystal's light grew brighter and brighter, piercing through the clouds and casting a radiant glow across the land. The storm dissipated, and the darkness retreated, replaced by a warm, golden light that brought life and prosperity back to the kingdom. Selene appeared once more, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You have done it, Alina. Your bravery and selflessness have saved us all. The heart of the lake will continue to shine, protecting our land for generations to come." Alina returned to Crystalbrook as a hero. The villagers celebrated her courage and kindness, and the story of her journey spread throughout the kingdom. The heart of the lake continued to glow, a symbol of hope and unity. And so, Alina lived a life full of joy and adventure, always remembered as the girl who saved her kingdom with the power of her pure heart. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in a lush valley surrounded by towering mountains, there lay a kingdom called Eldoria. Eldoria was known for its vibrant forests, sparkling lakes, and the magnificent dragon's peak that loomed over the land. At the top of this peak lived a dragon named Draken, whose scales glittered like molten gold and whose breath could create flames as bright as the sun. Draken was not just any dragon, he was the keeper of a legendary treasure, a chest filled with ancient artifacts and priceless gems. However, Draken had hidden the treasure away many years ago, and no one knew its exact location except for him. Over time, Draken's once bright scales grew dim, and his fiery breath softened. He was no longer the fearsome dragon he once was. In the village at the foot of Dragon's Peak lived a kind-hearted boy named Finn. Finn was known for his adventurous spirit and his love for exploring the forests and mountains. He often heard tales about Draken and the lost treasure, but he had never seen the dragon himself. One day, while exploring the forest, Finn stumbled upon an old, tattered map. The map was covered in strange symbols and led to Dragon's Peak. Excited by the discovery, Finn decided to follow the map and see where it would lead. As he climbed the steep path to the top of Dragon's Peak, Finn encountered various challenges, rocky slopes, narrow ledges, and even a mischievous group of mountain sprites who tried to distract him. But Finn's determination and courage helped him overcome every obstacle. At last, Finn reached the summit and found a hidden cave entrance covered by a curtain of ivy. With a deep breath, he entered the cave, where he saw Draken lying on a pile of old treasures, looking sad and weary. "Greetings, great Draken," Finn said respectfully. "I have come to find the lost treasure. I found this map, and I believe it might lead to something you've been searching for." Draken's eyes, though dim, sparkled with curiosity. "The treasure is indeed lost, but I have hidden it away so long ago that I have forgotten where it lies. I am not the dragon I once was, and the treasure's magic has faded with me." Finn approached the dragon and, seeing his condition, felt a pang of sympathy. "Perhaps the treasure isn't just about the gold and jewels," he suggested. "Maybe it's about the magic and the hope it once brought. Let me help you find it." Draken's heart warmed at Finn's words. Together, they started to search the cave, following the clues on the map. They discovered hidden compartments and ancient scrolls, each one holding pieces of the treasure's story. As they worked together, Draken's scales began to regain their luster, and his breath grew warmer. Finally, they found a small, intricately carved chest hidden behind a rock. When Finn opened it, he found not just gold and gems but a glowing crystal that pulsed with a gentle light. The crystal seemed to resonate with Draken's own magic. "This crystal holds the true magic of the treasure," Draken explained. "It was never about the riches but the magic that brought joy and hope to the land." With a newfound energy, Draken took the crystal and held it close. The cave filled with a brilliant light, and the treasure's magic spread throughout Eldoria, restoring the land's beauty and vitality. Finn and Draken returned to the village, where the villagers celebrated their return with joy and gratitude. Draken, now revitalized, became a beloved guardian of Eldoria, using his magic to protect and enrich the land. Finn's bravery and kindness were celebrated, and he continued to explore and help others, knowing that the true treasure was the magic of friendship and the joy of sharing one's heart. And so, Eldoria thrived, with Draken's treasure shining as a symbol of hope and the magic of a courageous heart. Finn's adventure became a cherished tale, reminding everyone that sometimes the greatest treasures are the ones that bring people together and make the world a brighter place. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, there was a humble music shop run by an elderly man named Master Caden. The shop was known far and wide for its magical instruments, each with a unique and enchanting story. Among these instruments was a golden violin known as the Enchanted Melody. Legend had it that the enchanted melody could only be played by someone with a heart full of kindness and bravery. Its music was said to bring joy, heal wounds, and even grant a single wish to the pure-hearted soul who played it. But the violin had remained silent for many years, as no one had yet proven worthy of its magic. In this village lived a young girl named Ilara. Ilara was known for her sweet nature and her love of music. Every day, she played her small, worn-out violin, filling the village with beautiful melodies. Despite her talent, her family was poor, and they struggled to make ends meet. Ilara dreamed of a better life for her family and wished to bring happiness and prosperity to her village. One crisp autumn morning, while walking past Master Caden's shop, Ilara heard the faintest whisper of a melody that seemed to call to her. Intrigued, she entered the shop and saw the golden violin displayed on a velvet cushion. Its beauty was breathtaking, and the melody it seemed to whisper felt like a promise of hope. Master Caden, who had been observing Ilara with a knowing smile, approached her. "The enchanted melody has been waiting for someone like you," he said. "It is said that only someone with a truly pure heart can play its magic." Ilara's eyes widened with excitement and curiosity. "How can I prove myself worthy?" Master Caden handed her the violin and said, "You must undertake a quest to show your true heart. There are 3 tasks that will test your kindness and bravery. Only by completing them will the enchanted melody reveal its magic." Ilara accepted the challenge with determination. The first task took her to the edge of the village, where a small, struggling farm was in dire need of help. The farm's crops were wilting, and the farmer's animals were weak. Ilara worked tirelessly, tending to the crops, feeding the animals, and helping the farmer restore the land. Her efforts brought new life to the farm, and the grateful farmer thanked her with tears of joy. The second task led Ilara to the heart of the forest, where she found a wounded deer caught in a hunter's trap. With gentle hands and a kind heart, Ilara freed the deer, tended to its wounds, and stayed by its side until it could walk again. The deer looked at her with grateful eyes before bounding back into the forest, its strength restored. For the final task, Ilara had to climb the steepest hill in the village and reach a hidden cave where a mystical flower known as the Starblossom was said to bloom. The journey was arduous, and Ilara faced harsh weather and rough terrain. But she persevered, driven by the thought of her village and her family. When she finally reached the cave, she found the Starblossom glowing with a soft, celestial light. She carefully plucked the flower and made her way back, exhausted but fulfilled. Upon returning to Master Caden's shop, Ilara presented the Starblossom and recounted her experiences. Master Caden nodded approvingly and said, "You have proven yourself worthy with your acts of kindness and bravery." With that, Master Caden handed Alara the enchanted melody. As she held the golden violin, she felt a warm, magical energy flow through her. She lifted the bow and began to play. The music that flowed from the violin was unlike anything anyone had ever heard, melodies of joy and healing that filled the air with enchantment. The villagers gathered around, mesmerized by the beautiful music. As Alara played, the village transformed, crops flourished, the river sparkled with newfound vitality, and a sense of happiness and peace settled over everyone. The magic of the enchanted melody had brought prosperity and joy to the village. Alara's family, too, found their fortunes changing. They were able to build a new home and live comfortably. And Alara's dream of bringing happiness to her family and village had come true. Master Caden smiled with pride. The true magic of the enchanted melody is not just in its notes, but in the kindness and courage of the one who plays it. From that day on, Alara became known as the village's most cherished musician, and the enchanted melody was played during every celebration and festival, spreading joy and harmony throughout the land. The tale of Alara and the golden violin became a beloved story, a reminder that the greatest magic of all is found in the heart.
In the heart of the bustling kingdom of Oldoria, there lay a garden known for its breathtaking roses. Among these roses was one extraordinary bloom, the enchanted rose. It was said that this rose could grant a single wish to anyone pure of heart who found it. Princess Isabella, a kind-hearted and brave young woman, had heard tales of the enchanted rose from her grandmother. As the kingdom faced a time of great trouble, a terrible drought that had withered their lands, Isabella decided she would find the rose and make a wish to save her kingdom. One moonlit evening, when the stars twinkled brightly in the sky, Isabella set out on her quest. She carried a satchel with essentials, a map of the kingdom, a lantern, and a small book of fairy tales her grandmother had gifted her. Isabella's journey led her to the Whispering Woods, a mysterious forest known for its talking animals and magical creatures. The path was overgrown and shadowy, but the light of the full moon guided her way. As she walked, Isabella met a wise old fox named Fennec, who spoke in a voice like rustling leaves. "Greetings, Princess," Fennec said. "The enchanted rose is hidden deep within the forest, but reaching it will not be easy. You must seek the guidance of the woodland spirits." Fennec directed Isabella to a large oak tree with a hollow at its base. Inside, she found a small, glowing sprite named Leela, who fluttered her delicate wings. "Hello, Princess Isabella," Leela said. "To find the enchanted rose, you must pass 3 trials set by the forest spirits. These trials will test your heart and courage." Leela led Isabella to a clearing where a fierce storm had been conjured. The wind howled, and lightning flashed across the sky. In the center of the clearing was a magical artifact, the Storm Amulet, which Isabella needed to retrieve. Despite the fierce storm, Isabella pressed on. She shielded her eyes from the lightning and braved the winds. With determination, she reached the amulet and clutched it tightly. The storm subsided, and the clearing was calm once more. The second trial took Isabella to a tranquil pond surrounded by enchanted lilac. On the pond's surface floated a riddle written on shimmering leaves. "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have nobody, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Isabella pondered the riddle, drawing on the wisdom she had gained from her grandmother's fairy tales. After a moment, she answered, "An echo." The lily glowed brightly, and a path to the next trial appeared. The final trial led Isabella to a glen where a family of magical creatures, a deer, a fox, and a rabbit, were in distress. They were lost and frightened, needing help to find their way home. Isabella approached the creatures with kindness and empathy. She spoke soothingly, helped them navigate the forest, and guided them safely to their homes. The creatures thanked her with warm smiles, and the path to the enchanted rose was revealed. Isabella followed the path to a hidden garden bathed in moonlight. At its center stood a majestic rose, its petals glowing with a soft, ethereal light. The enchanted rose was more beautiful than she had imagined, radiating a magical aura. As Isabella approached, a gentle voice spoke from the rose itself. "Princess Isabella, you have proven your heart through courage, wisdom, and compassion. You may now make your wish." With a deep breath, Isabella wished for her kingdom to be restored, for the drought to end, and for the lands to be lush and green once more. The rose's light intensified, and a warm breeze swept through the garden. When Isabella returned to Eldoria, she found that her wish had come true. The drought had ended, and the kingdom's lands were now vibrant and flourishing. Rivers flowed with crystal clear water, and fields were filled with blooming flowers and ripe crops. The people of Eldoria celebrated their princess's bravery and kindness. The kingdom thrived, and Isabella was hailed as a hero. The enchanted rose was placed in the royal garden, where it continued to bloom as a symbol of hope and the magic of true-hearted wishes. Years later, Princess Isabella's story became a beloved legend in Eldoria. The tale of her quest for the enchanted rose was told and retold, inspiring others to seek out their own courage, wisdom, and compassion. The enchanted rose remained a cherished part of the kingdom's history. Its magical glow served as a reminder that the power to change the world lies not in magic alone, but in the virtues of those who dare to believe in their dreams.
Once upon a time, in a kingdom surrounded by misty mountains and shimmering lakes, there was a charming village named Starhaven. Starhaven was known for its crystal-clear nights, where the stars seemed to twinkle more brightly than anywhere else. The villagers believed that the stars were magical and watched over them, guiding their lives with their gentle light. In this village lived a young girl named Ilara. Ilara was known for her love of stargazing and her adventurous spirit. Every evening, she would climb the hill behind her cottage and lie on the soft grass, watching the constellations dance across the night sky. Her favorite star was the North Star, which she believed had a special connection to her dreams. One night, as Ilara was stargazing, she noticed that the North Star was dimmer than usual. Concerned, she decided to investigate. With a lantern in hand and a heart full of determination, she set off on a journey to the top of the highest mountain in the land, where it was said that the stars touched the earth. The path was steep and winding, and the journey was fraught with challenges. Ilara encountered a swirling snowstorm, crossed a rickety old bridge, and navigated through a dark forest filled with whispering shadows. But she pressed on, guided by the faint glow of the North Star. At the summit, she discovered a hidden cave. Inside, the walls were adorned with sparkling crystals, and at the center of the cave was a magical pool of starlight. Floating above the pool was a delicate, glowing star, its light flickering weakly. As Ilara approached, a gentle voice echoed through the cave. "Who dares enter the realm of the stars?" Ilara looked around and saw a wise, ancient figure emerge from the shadows. It was a celestial guardian with flowing robes that shimmered like the night sky. "I am Ilara," she said bravely. "I have come to restore the light of the North Star. It is dim, and I fear for the balance of the stars." The guardian's eyes softened with compassion. "The North Star is fading because the Starstone, which powers the stars, has been stolen by a dark sorcerer. Without it, the stars cannot shine as brightly. You are the first to reach this place, and I sense that you have a pure heart." Ilara's eyes widened. "How can I help retrieve the Starstone?" The guardian handed her a shimmering map and said, "Follow this map to the Shadow Realm, where the sorcerer hides. There, you must confront him and recover the Starstone. But remember, the power of the Starstone is not just physical, it also requires a heart full of courage and love." With the map in hand, Ilara ventured into the Shadow Realm, a place of swirling darkness and eerie silence. She navigated through the realm, her lantern's light piercing the shadows. Eventually, she found the sorcerer's lair, a towering fortress surrounded by swirling mists. Inside, the sorcerer sat on a dark throne, the Starstone glowing ominously at his side. He was a tall figure cloaked in shadows, his eyes gleaming with malice. "Why have you come here, child?" he sneered. Ilara took a deep breath. "I have come to reclaim the Starstone and restore the light of the North Star. The stars are important to the world, and their light brings hope and guidance." The sorcerer laughed. You think you can take it from me? The Starstone's power is mine to command. With a sudden burst of bravery, Elara stepped forward and spoke from her heart. The power of the Starstone is meant to bring light and hope, not darkness. True power lies in using it for good. Her words struck a chord with the sorcerer. He hesitated, and for a moment, his hardened exterior softened. He realized the truth in her words. Reluctantly, he handed the Starstone over to Elara, his anger giving way to a deep, introspective sadness. Elara thanked him and quickly made her way back to the summit. With the Starstone in place, its light began to radiate throughout the cave, filling it with a brilliant, warm glow. The North Star's light was restored, and the stars across the sky sparkled with renewed brilliance. When Elara returned to Starhaven, the villagers celebrated her bravery and kindness. The North Star shone more brightly than ever, and the balance of the stars was preserved. The sorcerer, having seen the error of his ways, found redemption and vowed to use his magic for good. Elara's adventure became a cherished tale in Starhaven, a story of courage, kindness, and the power of a pure heart. The stars continued to guide and inspire the village, and Elara, with her unwavering spirit, lived happily ever after. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom called Veridonia, nestled between towering mountains and verdant valleys, there was a small village named Whimsy Hollow. The village was known for its vibrant gardens, where flowers of every color bloomed, and the townsfolk lived in harmony with nature. At the heart of this village lived a kind-hearted girl named Lily, who was known for her curiosity and bravery. Lily lived with her grandmother, a wise woman who was respected throughout the village for her knowledge of herbs and healing. Every night, her grandmother would tell her stories of the enchanted forest that bordered their village, a place filled with magical creatures and hidden secrets. One story that fascinated Lily the most was about the legendary Tree of Dreams, a mystical tree whose golden leaves could grant a single wish to the pure of heart. One day, a terrible drought struck Whimsy Hollow. The gardens wilted, the rivers dried up, and the villagers grew anxious. The crops that the village depended on for survival were in jeopardy. Remembering the stories of the Tree of Dreams, Lily decided that she must find it and save her village. With a heart full of determination, Lily set off into the enchanted forest. Her faithful companion, a clever squirrel named Pip, joined her on her quest. The forest was a place of wonder, with trees that whispered ancient secrets and flowers that glowed in the dark. As they ventured deeper, they encountered their first challenge, a wide, roaring river with no bridge in sight. Just as Lily wondered how to cross, a majestic eagle swooped down and landed gracefully on a nearby rock. The eagle spoke in a regal voice, "To cross this river, you must answer my riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Lily thought for a moment and then replied, "You are an echo." The eagle nodded and extended one of its mighty wings, creating a bridge of golden feathers. Lily and Pip crossed the river safely and continued their journey. Soon, they arrived at a dense part of the forest where the sunlight barely penetrated. Here, they met a wise old owl perched on a gnarled tree branch. "To pass through this dark wood, you must show your wisdom," the owl hooted. "Tell me, what can fill a room but takes up no space?" Lily pondered the question and then answered, "Light." The owl's eyes twinkled with approval, and the dense woods parted, allowing a clear path to form. As they walked through, they reached a beautiful meadow where a unicorn with a shimmering mane stood. The unicorn looked at them with sorrowful eyes. "My magic is fading, and I can no longer guard the Tree of Dreams," the unicorn said. "To find the tree, you must show compassion. Can you help me?" Lily, with Pip's help, gathered herbs and concocted a healing potion, just as her grandmother had taught her. She offered it to the unicorn, who drank it gratefully. Immediately, the unicorn's strength was restored, and it shone with a radiant light. "You have shown great kindness," the unicorn said. "Climb on my back, and I will take you to the Tree of Dreams." Lily and Pip climbed onto the unicorn's back, and in a flash of light, they were transported to a hidden grove. At the center of the grove stood the magnificent tree of dreams, its golden leaves shimmering like stars. However, as Lily approached the tree, a dark figure emerged from the shadows. It was Morgana, a sorceress who sought to use the tree's magic for her own selfish desires. "You cannot take the magic of the tree," Morgana hissed, her eyes glowing with malice. Lily stood her ground, her heart pounding but her resolve unwavering. The magic of the tree is meant to help those in need, not to serve selfish desires. Morgana raised her staff, ready to cast a spell, but Pip darted forward and knocked the staff from her hands. In the confusion, Lily touched the tree of dreams and made her wish. "I wish for the drought to end and for my village to thrive once more." The tree's leaves glowed brightly, and a wave of magic spread throughout the land. The drought was lifted, rivers flowed again, and the fields were filled with lush, green crops. Morgana, realizing she was defeated, disappeared into the shadows. Lily and Pip returned to Whimsy Hollow as heroes. The villagers celebrated their bravery, and the Tree of Dreams continued to bless the land with prosperity. Lily's name was remembered for generations, a symbol of courage and compassion. And so, the kingdom of Veridonia flourished under the watchful eye of its brave young hero, and they all lived happily ever after.